Chapter 1013. I'm here to issue a letter of challenge. Jiang Yuanyuan waved the letter of challenge in her hand. In a war between two countries, envoys are not to be killed. The president wiped the sweat off his hair and looked at the girl standing in the middle of the arena. What do you mean? She's a member of the Martial Arts Society. The hooked nose hurriedly shouted. Martial Arts Society. That third-rate society. The president looked at the girl in front of him. They actually sent a woman to issue a challenge. What a joke. Hey, it's not a challenge, it's a letter of challenge, okay? See, it's clearly written on it. At 5 in the afternoon, our president will be here to challenge the club. Jiang Yuanyuan emphasized, I'm just a beautiful and kind envoy. You should like me and welcome me. How can you bully me? What's the point of bullying a girl? Jiang Yuanyuan's little mouth was very sharp, leaving the group of men in the Taekwondo club speechless. But the president didn't seem to fall for it. He sneered. It's not that easy to be an envoy. Since you dared to barge in, don't think of leaving unscathed. What do you mean? The school has its rules. Martial arts practitioners also have their own rules. The president didn't hold back. He pointed at Huang Biao, who was lying on the ground. You guys hurt my people. I naturally have to return the favor. Speaking of returning the favor, it was you guys who provoked us first, right? Jiang Yuanyuan argued. You guys stole our people first. How did he become your people? Jiang Yuanyuan raised her delicate little chin, looking at the surrounding members. Everyone, when you guys entered the club, did you all sign a contract to sell yourself? Seeing Jiang Yuanyuan's beautiful eyes, the hooked nose almost subconsciously shook his head. Bang! The president stomped his foot on the floor, leaving a footprint. The hook-nosed man jumped in fright. We will always be members of the Taekwondo club. What a terrifying rule. Jiang Yuanyuan shrugged. I really don't know why you guys like to join this kind of club. Are you all masochists? As she said, she walked to Huang Biao's side. Besides, you guys are all men, so what if you get hurt? She suddenly squatted down, looked at Huang Biao in front of her, and asked very gently, does it hurt? It doesn't hurt. Huang Biao was indeed a tough nut to crack. That's good. Jiang Yuanyuan grabbed Huang Biao's leg with both hands and exerted force. Crack. Roar. It was too sudden. Even Huang Biao, the burly man, let out a blood-curdling scream. Everyone in the club immediately got into position and looked at Jiang Yuanyuan as if they were facing a formidable enemy. What are you shouting for? Your leg is fine. As Jiang Yuanyuan spoke, she held her phone and seemed to be sending something. It's not fun here. I'm leaving. See you at 5 p.m. Jiang Yuanyuan shook her phone. I've already posted a challenge on the school's Tieba. It should be very lively here tonight. If your president wants to humiliate himself, I welcome him at any time. The president stood there with his hands on his waist, looking very arrogant. I respect each and every one of my opponents, so I will beat the crap out of them. He glanced at Jiang Yuanyuan. As for you, I've said it before. Don't even think about leaving unscathed. He pointed at the door. 2 experts with red ribbons stood in front of the door. As for me, I don't hate bad men. Jiang Yuanyuan looked at the president and mocked him. But I hate ungentlemanly guys. A man like you can't even find a girlfriend. As she said that, she ignored the president and walked towards the door. The 2 red ribbons tried to stop Jiang Yuanyuan. They turned around and kicked at the same time, trying to force Jiang Yuanyuan back. However, Jiang Yuanyuan's canvas shoes suddenly rubbed against each other. Using the 8 trigrams perplexing footwork, she instantly dodged their kicks and arrived beside one of the red belt experts. Then, like a knife, she thrust her left palm towards his waist. But she hesitated for a moment before opening her palm and slapping it at the red ribbon's abdomen. Bam! The man's body flew out and crashed into his comrade. Both of them fell to the ground. Retards! See you tonight. With that, Jiang Yuanyuan boldly walked out of the door and even gave the president a middle finger. Trash! The president looked at the two red ribbons on the ground. All black ribbons, get ready. Tonight, I will let the martial arts club know what real combat skills are. As he said that, he turned around and broke a wooden stake beside him with a kick. Li Fan wants to challenge the Taekwondo club. Oh my god, is he crazy? Who cares? There's going to be a good show tonight. The G University students were a little excited today. The newly established martial arts club was ready to challenge the Taekwondo club. The Taekwondo club had been established in G University for 10 years. Every generation's president was a Taekwondo expert from Korea. It was said that the first president was a legend. At that time, Taekwondo was still not that popular in Huaxia. He founded the club and even used the Taekwondo he learned to defeat many Korean experts. In the end, the reputation of the G University Taekwondo Club grew. And the current president was called Kim Young-kwang. It was said that he was half Korean and was the runner-up in the Korean national competition. Li Fan was also a little famous. It was said that he had beaten up a few second-year sports students on the sports field. But how could it be possible for him to defeat an 8th Dan black belt expert with just this little bit of ability? Most people thought that this was Li Fan's attempt to create hype. Even if he lost, he could still gain some popularity for the martial arts club. As the saying goes, a tall tree attracts the wind. With the Taekwondo club being such a big club, Li Fan also wanted to ride on their coattails. When will Li Fan arrive? That shameless guy, I guess he won't dare to come. He's just making a fuss. He definitely won't dare to come. Many students had already gathered at the Taekwondo club, waiting to watch this challenge. But it was almost time, yet Li Fan had not arrived yet. Was he really too afraid to come? Lu Wan had also arrived early. She was very curious. Although Li Fan was skilled in Qigong, could he really defeat Kim Young-kwang, who was the runner-up in Korea, in terms of combat? There were a lot of people who came to watch the show. Luckily, the Taekwondo club's venue was very big. Otherwise, it would not have been able to accommodate so many people. Is Li Fan too afraid to come? Someone from the student council muttered at the side. It's not time yet, don't spout nonsense. Lu Wan glared at him, and that student immediately shut up. This was Lu Wan It was already a blessing to be able to speak to her. Even if she was reprimanded. The crowd was so envious that they could die. Lu Wan actually took the initiative to speak to this student. Look, Li Fan is here. Li Fan was wearing a white hooded tracksuit. He pushed open the door and walked in. Chapter 10:14. Li Fan liked to wear sportswear the most. It was more convenient for exercising and fighting. Xia Yi had bought this white sportswear for him when she was shopping for the past 2 days. It was mainly because Li Fan did not bring any new clothes when he came. Li Fan was not a person who liked to buy clothes. Moreover, he often used the alien bone transformation, so it was easy for his clothes to burst. Therefore, the clothes he had were pitifully few. Li Fan quite liked the white sportswear that Xia Yi had chosen. He decided to take off his shirt as much as possible when he did the alien bone transformation in the future. Is that Li Fan? He looks quite ordinary. He looks so thin. Can he beat Kim Jingguang? I bet $100 that Li Fan will be knocked out in 10 seconds. The crowd of spectating students started chattering again. Li Fan had already walked to the center of the dojo and turned a deaf ear to their voices. Behind him were a few members of the martial arts society. Jiang Yuanyuan and Jiang Fangfang stood on either side of Li Fan. This pair of exquisite girls was much more popular than Li Fan. Almost all the men had their eyes on them. Who are these girls? Twins. They are the best. Fuck, why are they following Li Fan? They seem to be members of the martial arts society. Are they blind? The two sisters heard it clearly. Jiang Yuanyuan could not help but mock them. Are these people too free? Ignore them. Jiang Fangfang's gaze followed Li Fan's back. From now on, it will be our martial arts society's first show. Li Fan stood in the center of the dojo with both hands in his pockets. He looked at the circle of Taekwondo disciples in white Taoist attire. Is that all? Li Fan smiled. I thought there would be more people. It should be more people than your small place. Kim Jingguang was wearing a clean Taoist attire. He stood on the stage and looked at Li Fan below. No matter how many scum there are, they won't be able to show up in public. Li Fan put away his politeness. Since he was here to challenge the dojo, there was no need to be polite. That would be too pretentious. The surrounding members of the Taekwondo club were angry and shouted at Li Fan. However, Jin Jingguang stretched out his hand and asked them to quiet down. You're not the first stubborn martial artist I've met. Jin Jingguang said, 2 years ago, I met a martial arts master who practiced Hong Quan. His mouth was as hard as yours, but when I kicked out 2 of his front teeth, he stopped talking. Li Fan frowned and looked at Jin Jingguang. This fellow was pretty arrogant. He was about to catch up to him. Originally, I wanted to personally teach you a lesson, but after thinking about it, I don't think it's necessary. You're not worth my time. I worked hard to cultivate and compete in the arena in order to pursue a higher realm of martial skills and to find stronger opponents. You're too weak. You're nothing but a liar who only knows how to put on a show. He clapped his hands, and 3 men with black belts walked out from among his club members. The 3 of them are early-level black belts. If you can defeat the 3 of them, you'll be considered to have succeeded in challenging the dojo. A lot of girls who came to watch were disappointed. They wouldn't be able to see Jin Jingguang's heroic bearing. Just when everyone was a little disappointed, Li Fan hooked his finger at them. 3 people is too boring. Why don't you all come together? It'll be a little more exciting. Junior, don't be too arrogant. Jin Jingguang reminded him, don't hurt yourself just to be in the limelight. I'd like to see who dares to hurt him today. Just when Jin Jingguang finished his words, a voice suddenly came in from outside the door. Everyone turned around and saw a beautiful woman wearing a white dress slowly walking in from the open door. This woman seemed to have an icy aura, making the men who saw her feel cold. Ice Queen. Almost everyone had the same feeling. Behind the beauty, there were 2 men. One was wearing a gray suit with a handsome face and a smile hanging on the corner of his mouth as if he was a young master of some family. The other one was tall and strong like a small mountain, but his expression seemed to be a little dull and silly. Could it be that this kind of beauty is also a new student? When Li Fan saw her, he sucked in a mouthful of cold air. Luo Shuowu. Long time no see. Night Rain Tower cupped his hands towards Li Fan while Guomingming took out a chicken leg from his pants and passed it to Li Fan. Do you want to eat? Luo Shuowu carried an icy aura and her voice was as cold as the wind. She stood in the dojo and looked at the surrounding weak ordinary people and warned them. I'd like to see who dares to hurt my fiancé today. Cold sweat dripped down from Li Fan's forehead. Your fiancé. Before Li Fan could reply, a woman's voice came from the spectator stand. This voice was very soft, but it was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. Everyone turned their heads and saw a beautiful girl wearing a purple cheongsam standing there. Her hair was coiled up with a black jade and black phoenix hairpin. A lock of her bangs hung down and rested on her impeccable face. Her snow-white skin looked like it could be broken by the wind. This girl's body was pretty much perfect. The cheongsam wrapped around a pair of peaks, it was at least a D cup. Her slim waist looked like it could be held with one hand. Her curves flowed down and her perky but propped up the cheongsam once more. The short cheongsam only reached a little below her thighs and covered her absolute territory. Below it was a pair of perfectly round long legs and she wore a pair of black high heels. Such a woman was a peerless beauty. She was comparable to the white-clothed beauty in front of her. When he saw this girl, Li Fan's pupils constricted. Why did she come? Muronging. What are you doing here? Luo Shuawu looked at the beauty above her head with an unfriendly expression. Why do I need to tell you where I want to go in this world? Muronging was still domineering. Li Fan's eyes were a little obsessed. He quickly came to his senses and wondered if he was a little masochistic. This is my fiancé's university. What does it have to do with you? Luo Shuawu's words made a group of boys envious. What did this Li Fan have? Shen Chen's confession was fine, but how did he get such a beautiful fiancé? President Jin Jingguang stood there and was also a little confused. What was going on? However, he forgot to stop them for a moment and only looked at the two beauties. Although the twins were also very beautiful, in terms of temperament, they could not be compared with these two at all. I'm not here to compete with you for a man. Muronging crossed her arms and stood there, looking down at Luo Shuawu. But even if I don't want him, I don't want to give him to you. No one can take away what I want. As Luo Shuawu spoke, her long hair suddenly floated up. Everyone in the dojo felt a bone-piercing chill and could not help but shiver. It was clearly summer. Chapter 10-15. Everyone felt a chill and couldn't help being surprised. What's going on? For City G, it's still summer in September. Why do I feel so cold? Is the air conditioning in the training hall broken? Muronging didn't think so and looked at Luo Shuawu. It seems that your 9-heaven mysterious ice has made some progress. But do you think you can fight against me with this? Yes, I'm not as good as you, but it doesn't mean that I'm afraid of you. Luo Shuawu looked at Muronging, who was much more powerful than her, but she did not show the slightest hint of fear. Although it will hurt my body, it's nothing to defeat you. As she said, she stood in front of Li Fan. He belongs to me. No one can take him away. What a joke. His ownership is not up to you, Xiao Qingfeng, to decide. Muronging said sarcastically, how dare a lousy league club compete with me, Muronging? So what? Let's have a fight. As Luo Shuawu said, she pointed at Muronging above her head, today, there's no winner or loser, only life and death. Li Fan had a headache. Why do these two girls fight to the death? Okay, just what I want. Muronging agreed. When Li Fan was about to speak, Jin Jingguang spoke first. You two, it's not good to quarrel in my place, right? Although you two are beautiful, you've affected the activities of my club, so I can only expel you two. Unless you two are willing to join my Taekwondo club, I will teach you two real martial arts, and then you can compete with Taekwondo. Li Fan wanted to laugh. Muronging didn't care about him at all. Luo Shuawu just glanced at him, which made Jin Jingguang feel cold all over and shiver subconsciously. Go away. Luo Shuawu spat out these two words lightly. Then I can only expel you two. Being humiliated by a beauty in front of so many people, Jin Jingguang suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He waved his hand, signaling for the club members to chase the two women away. The two club members had already walked towards Luo Shuawu. Guo Mingming, who had been smiling foolishly, had a cold expression on his face. He stretched out his hands and grabbed the heads of the two club members. Then, as if he was throwing away garbage, he threw them several meters away. My apologies. Night Rain Tower apologized to the crowd. This is our guild master. Outsiders are not allowed to get close to him. Please forgive us. What's with the pretense? Beat him up. A club member shouted, and all the Taekwondo club members immediately surrounded him. When Guo Mingming saw them, he immediately raised his right foot and stomped heavily on the ground. Bang! The floor of the training hall trembled, and a force rose up, causing all the members to fall to the ground. Look at you guys. Didn't I remind you guys? Night Rain Tower sighed, why don't you listen to me? The surrounding students were all dumbfounded. What kind of power was this? Did he knock everyone down in one go? Is this a martial skill? Guo Mingming. Muronging immediately scolded, have you forgotten the rules of the pugilistic world? How dare you use true qi on ordinary people? I think you don't want your legs anymore. As the guild master of the pugilistic world, she could not allow the people of the pugilistic world to break the rules of the pugilistic world. Amidst the exclamations of the crowd, Muronging suddenly jumped down from the second floor. She floated down from the air and went straight for Guo Mingming. Her two fingers were like swords, stabbing towards Guo Mingming's thigh. Night Rain Tower pulled out a sword and was about to use the 7-star sword, but Muronging slapped with her other hand. A strong gust of wind blew on his body, sending him flying 3 meters away and crashing into the pillar behind him. Guo Mingming raised his iron fist and punched towards Murongying's beautiful face. To him, there was no difference between a man and a woman, and there was no special meaning to a beautiful woman. But the chief of the pugilistic world was the chief of the pugilistic world. She retracted her palm and caught Guo Mingming's fist. She exploded like ripples, but Guo Mingming's fist was also blocked. Murongying's sword finger stabbed Guo Mingming's thigh. Blood spurted out, but Guo Mingming sealed his acupuncture point with a backhand. Then, he cupped his fists and punched towards Murongying again. Murongying backhanded her palm, and the gust of wind blew on Guo Mingming's body, sending him flying. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. What kind of martial arts was this? As expected of Chief Murong. Let my 9 heavens mystic ice fight against you. As Luo Shuawu spoke, her black hair suddenly began to fade, and in a short while, it turned silver white. And a strong aura also erupted from her body. The surrounding cold air became even thicker, and many people began to shiver. Ice Witch. Murongying couldn't help but raise her eyebrows. I didn't expect you to have already practiced to this level. It's prepared for you. Luo Shuawu's figure suddenly flickered a few times. Like a ghost, she pulled out a few phantoms and suddenly appeared in front of Murongying. Her ice palm fell from the sky and pressed down on Murongying's forehead. Murongying raised her hand and pointed 2 fingers at Luo Shuawu's palm. Bang! A strong qi exploded from Luo Shuawu's palm. Luo Shuawu's palm was bounced off, but Murongying was also shaken and took a step back. Her 2 fingers trembled slightly. You forcibly reached the realm of 10 dragons. It seems that the 9 heavens mystic ice is really an evil martial art. It doesn't matter whether the martial art is evil or not. Luo Shuawu said coldly, as long as I can kill you, it's enough. As she spoke, the temperature around her dropped a few degrees, and frost appeared faintly on the ground. Take another palm of mine. Luo Shuawu took another step forward. Her palm was as white as jade, and she pressed it on Murongying's chest. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Muronging snorted coldly. Instead of retreating, she advanced and threw a flame palm to meet it. The palms of the two beauties touched each other, and a powerful palm pressure immediately spread out and impacted the surroundings. The floor of the training hall under them was directly shattered, but their bodies were still floating in the air, being pulled by the force. The power of ice and fire kept impacting on each other. The two were frozen in the air for 2 seconds, and then Luo Shuawu was sent flying. With white smoke on her body, she heavily hit the wall behind her. And Murong Ying's body was also sent flying 3 meters away. She stepped on the ground and stabilized her body. Luo Shuawu fell down from the wall and wiped a trace of blood from the corner of her mouth. Not bad. Interesting. Let's do it again. As she spoke, she gave Guo Mingming and Night Rain Tower a look. Are we really going to do this? Night Rain Tower couldn't help but worry. Don't waste time. Luo Shuawu scolded. The two came behind her obediently and put their palms on her back. Chapter 1016. Night Rain Tower and Guo Mingming put their palms on Luo Shuawu's back and instilled true qi into her body. Breeze divine power. Muronging raised her eyebrows slightly and adjusted the true qi in her body at the same time. You've taken out all your trump cards. This Breeze Divine Power was a joint attack technique created by Smiling Breeze Sword. It allowed the true qi of the same sect to be injected into the opponent's body to enhance the opponent's martial arts. But this would also damage some of their lifespan, so they rarely used it except for fighting with their lives. Of course, we'll fight to the death today. Luo Shuawu absorbed the true qi of the two people, and her eyes seemed to turn silver. Her skirt fluttered, and then she bounced her feet and flew towards Muronging again. An ice palm with a strong chill went straight towards Muronging. Muronging was not careless. She raised her right palm, which was scarlet red, and the flame palm was also pushed to the extreme. As the leader of the martial arts world, she must win this battle today. Clang! But at this moment, a man's figure suddenly appeared between the two women. He stretched out his hands, one on each side, and directly took the two palms of the two people. As if a golden bell had been rung, a huge impact impacted the dojo, causing pain in the ears of the surrounding people, and they were on the verge of falling. Li Fan stood there, white smoke coming out of his body, and only used his body to block the attack of the two women. You two, stop fooling around. Li Fan reached out and pushed them away. Today is the young master's challenge. Why did you come out to join in the fun? Dear, get out of the way. This is a battle of life and death between me and her. When Luo Shuawu spoke to Li Fan, she was a little gentler. Move my ass. Stop and stand aside. Li Fan's eyes widened, and he pointed to the praying mat beside him. Luo Shuawu's true qi flickered a few times, and finally, she withdrew it and sat aside obediently. And you and I are now enemies. Can you please respect your opponent? Li Fan turned his head and looked at Muronging. I've told you since the first time we met. I am Li Fan, not anyone's goods. Please don't use your values to measure me. Muronging struggled for a moment, then said, I'm not here for you. I'm here for Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai. Is she here too? Li Fan looked around but didn't see Murong. She should have arrived a few days earlier than me, but I don't know where she went. This girl is clever. She must have known that I would come and is hiding from me. Muronging said. You guys are the same. A young girl of this age needs to make friends. Why did you lock her up? Murong's family is a bunch of unreasonable people. Oh. Are you blaming us? Muronging looked at Li Fan. This little girl saw the news of someone being confessed to by a big star, so she sneaked out. Don't you want to explain this matter? That. It's just a misunderstanding. You don't have to take it seriously. Li Fan coughed twice. I also hope it's a misunderstanding. But it seems that you're quite happy after we broke off the engagement. Muronging glanced at the twins standing beside Li Fan. You're imagining things again. You don't like to communicate, so you're such a failure. Li Fan couldn't help but scold Muronging. Me? Failure? Muronging smiled. I'm the leader of the martial arts circle. How could I fail? Look around you. When did you have a friend? Li Fan asked. Muronging became proud. A master doesn't need friends. I have a sword in my hand. That's enough. Nonsense. You're unreasonable. When Li Fan heard Murongying's words, he was furious. Paranoid. Little Overlord Li Fan, you say I'm paranoid. Murongying asked, if you're not paranoid, why are we in this situation today? Originally, we should have an engagement party this year. When she said this, even Muronging couldn't help but tremble a little. Yes, we're both paranoid. It seems that we're destined not to be together. Li Fan said bluntly, leave, Muronging. We're enemies. If you continue to stay here, so what? Are you going to attack me? So what if I attack you? Li Fan looked at Muronging. You've attacked me many times. You're right. Muronging smiled once again. However, this smile broke the hearts of countless men. Your kung fu has improved a little. That's good. In this case, the next time we fight, you won't die so quickly. You're flattering me. Li Fan said in a loud voice, defeating you is no longer interesting. The person I want to defeat is that abnormal father of yours. Don't go too far. Muronging wanted to leave. But when she heard Li Fan's words, she retracted her foot. Your words are a humiliation to my Murong villa. So what if I'm humiliating you? Li Fan laughed. Is that old thief Murong trying to be friendly with me? Li Fan. Muronging stretched out her right hand. Everyone felt a blur in front of them. Then, cherry blossom petals suddenly fell from the top of the training hole. Everyone was surprised. Where did these cherry blossoms come from? These cherry blossoms fell in front of Muronging. They spun and condensed together, forming a sword which she held out her hand. Let's settle this battle today. Muronging pointed the sword at Li Fan. Good. Li Fan's temper flared up. He took off his sportswear and revealed his upper body. His smooth lines attracted some girls. Li Fan's figure seemed to be quite good. Lu Wanhe was looking forward to it. Today, would she be able to see the Overlord subduing tiger painting again? Li Fan's body suddenly expanded by 3 times. With the alien bone swap, he grew to nearly 2 meters tall. His skin turned slightly red. A lifelike Overlord subduing tiger painting appeared behind him, causing the surrounding students to exclaim. Oh my god, he really has a tattoo. No, I want to ask. Is this a movie? Where did the cherry blossoms come from? How did Li Fan suddenly become so strong? What's going on? Oh my god, where did these people come from? Are they Chinese wuxia? The surrounding audience did not know what was going on and felt shocked. But Li Fan did not care about what they thought. Muronging was a true expert. He had to use his full strength to deal with her. He might as well increase his strength recently. With the strength of a grandmaster, fighting with her should not be a loss. My Murong family will not tolerate being tarnished. As Muronging said that, she held on to the cherry blossom sword and suddenly jumped up. Then, she descended from the sky and slashed down towards Li Fan's head. The cherry blossoms were dancing, but death was approaching. Li Fan was not careless. He stretched out his right hand and wrapped his innate qi around it, grabbing onto the sword that was slashing down. Chapter 10:17. The overlord behind Li Fan seemed to be roaring. He used his own palms to block a treasured sword that could cut through iron as if it were mud. The golden true qi wrapped around his palm, becoming the key to protecting his palm. At the same time, Li Fan condensed a ball of air in his left hand and threw it toward Muronging above his head. Dragon Spitting Pearl. The ball of air hit Murong-Ying's body and sent her flying to the ceiling. Murong-Ying swept her 2 fingers and broke the ball of air. Then, she stepped on the ceiling and bounced down. Carrying the sword, she turned into a ray of sword light and fell down from the sky like a thunderbolt. This sword technique is quite similar to Li Fan's god-slaying might. This sword is very fast. The others couldn't even see it clearly. However, Li Fan has a special ability. In his eyes, Murong-Ying's speed was slowed down by several times. Li Fan slightly took a step back and dodged Murong-Ying's thunderous sword. At the same time, he stretched out his palms and pushed Murong-Ying's body. Bang! Murong-Ying's body was sent flying and heavily fell to the ground. She turned over and stood up again. However, Li Fan has already arrived in front of her and slapped Murong-Ying's forehead. Murong-Ying raised her sword horizontally and blocked Li Fan's palm. Clang! She slid 3 meters away. If not for the protection of her true qi, her high heels would have been broken. Murong-Ying, you are no longer my opponent. Li Fan walked over step by step and said in a deep voice, let your father come. Only he is worthy for me to beat him up. Li Fan, although you are a lot stronger, don't be too arrogant. Murong-Ying said, I haven't used my full strength. Then why don't you use your full strength? Li Fan's body began to emit white smoke. His condition was about to reach its peak. But at this moment, the 2 of them frowned at the same time and looked out of the window. Looks like someone doesn't want us to fight. Murong-Ying said, we've already alerted the Imperial Secret Service. Next time, let's find a place with no one around and have a good fight. After that, Murong-Ying stood up and patted the dust off her body. Next time, I promise I'll let you and me have a good time. As soon as she finished speaking, Murong-Ying had already jumped out of the window. Li Fan also dispersed his alien bone changing and returned to his original appearance. Can't you just walk through the door? Why are you pretending to be cool? Luo Shuowu mocked. Don't talk about her. You should also hurry back to the Great Snow Mountain. Li Fan glared at Luo Shuowu and said, what are you doing here? I heard that you have a new girlfriend. Can't I come and see? Luo Shuowu looked at Li Fan unwillingly and said, you said that you would marry me. It's not time yet. Li Fan also had a headache. We are not fated yet. When the time comes, I will naturally marry you. No, a long night is fraught with dreams. Luo Shuowu said, I think you have reached the realm of a generation's master. Come back to the headquarters with me. I will assist you to unify the Jianghu. What's the point of this place where mortals gather? Luo Shuowu glanced at the people around her and said, look at them, how stupid they are. Hey, who are you calling stupid? Jiang Yuanyuan was unhappy. So what if your martial arts are better? Don't be too arrogant. Little girl, how can you be so rash? Luo Shuowu was slightly unhappy. What made Luo Shuowu unhappy was Guo Mingming's enemy. He immediately roared, stepped forward, and slapped Jiang Yuanyuan. Li Fan was furious. This Guo Mingming, was his brain really stupid? He was about to make a move, but Jiang Yuanyuan had already used the 8 trigrams disorienting footwork to one side. At the same time, she poked Guo Mingming's waist with her hand, which made Guo Mingming feel pain. Jiang Fangfang leaned forward, grabbed Guo Mingming's calf with both hands, and lifted it up. Bang! Guo Mingming directly fell on his face. Humph! We sisters are not easy to bully. Jiang Yuanyuan fiercely stepped on Guo Mingming's butt twice. Yo, good kung fu. Luo Xiaowu's eyes lit up. Where did you find this pair of treasures? Why don't you give them to me? I will take them back to the headquarters and train them. In the future, I will definitely shock the Wulin. Are you kidding me? We are all students. We need to go to class. Why go back to the headquarters? Li Fan quickly dispelled Luo Xiaowu's idea. Don't mess around. Take them back quickly. Night Rain Tower, what's wrong with you? How can you let your chief do whatever he wants? Brotherly, I am just a commander. Except for fighting, I don't have the final say. Night Rain Tower shrugged his shoulders. Why do I see that you are quite proud of yourself? That's your misconception. Night Rain Tower, this unreliable fellow, was definitely here to watch the show. To be honest, you should also go back to Yi Sword. Night Rain Tower pulled Guo Mingming up. That is also your home. Night Rain Tower's words were very pertinent. Li Fan did not refute. Go back with me now. Luo Xiaowu was a little unwilling. She pulled Li Fan's hand. Forget it, Chief. You still can't see that Li Fan's heart is here. Night Rain Tower persuaded his chief again. When he is tired, he will naturally come back. The Reliant Sword is his final harbor. But, Chief, we have also accompanied you here. It is to let you understand Li Fan's thoughts. Night Rain Tower became serious. Don't forget that the 3 major alliances are eyeing us covetously. The longer you leave, the more dangerous the alliance will be. Alright, Luo Xiaowu had matters to attend to after all. She could not stay here for too long. Then I will go back to the headquarters and wait for you. Oh right, I can control my cold chi now. I can help you give birth to a son. Luo Xiaowu's words almost made Li Fan spit out a mouthful of blood. The sisters looked at him strangely, and Li Fan didn't know how to explain it. I know. You should go back quickly. Li Fan felt like he was coaxing a country wife to go home quickly. And I will wait for you to come back. Luo Xiaowu turned around and returned to her appearance of an ice queen. Before she left the room, she turned her head back and said, Don't worry. Whoever dares to touch my man will be like this wall. With that, Luo Xiaowu's palm landed on the wall beside her. There was a clear palm print left on the cement wall. It was as deep as a finger, and it was frightening to look at. Luo Xiaowu left with her 2 subordinates. Li Fan also heaved a sigh of relief and said to Jin Jingguang. There was a small accident just now. Let's start again. Jin Jingguang felt his cheeks twitching. I am not feeling well today. Why don't we fight another day? That will spoil the fun. Li Fan smiled. Meeting friends through martial arts. What is there to be afraid of? Your level is too low. I don't want to compete with you, then why don't you let me use one hand? Looking at Li Fan's expectant gaze, Jin Jingguang cursed in his heart. Chapter 1018. Come, all of you can come at me together. Li Fan hooks his finger at the black belt students. It's okay, I can handle it. We can't handle it. Those students are wailing in their hearts. They don't know where this Li Fan came from. How is this modern fighting? Isn't this the martial arts world in novels? Jin Jingguang is also very nervous. He heard that after training martial arts to a certain state, it will break through and cultivate qi, making the body stronger. Jin Jingguang only thought this is a superstitious qigong. He didn't expect that there is such a state in reality. He practiced taekwondo for so many years, why can't he comprehend it? Everyone, today I am here to challenge your dojo, no one dares to accept my challenge. Li Fan can't help but frown, aren't these people too cowardly? If you guys don't want to come, then I will. A youth with a white belt suddenly walks out. Chinese martial arts master, don't be too proud. You still haven't seen a real expert. After saying that, he walks out. Li Tai. Jin Jingguang is surprised to see this student. This is a student from Korea with pure Korean blood. He is somewhat related to Qin Haodong. But he just started learning taekwondo. Qin Haodong letting him join the club is to train him. If he wants to challenge this Chinese expert, he definitely won't win. Calm down, you just started learning taekwondo, not suitable for martial arts. Taekwondo is the soul of our Korean nation, how can it be trampled by a Chinese martial artist? Li Tai looks young, but his backbone is very strong. Come, Chinese friend, I will let you know what is the real taekwondo. After saying that, Li Tai stretches out his hands, clasps them together, and salutes Li Fan. This was the etiquette of a modern martial artist. Li Fan cupped his hands at him and returned the gesture. But Li Tai suddenly bounced up and kicked at Li Fan with a whirlwind. Li Fan is surprised. He stretches out his hands and pushes Li Tai's leg away. As soon as Li Tai landed on the side, he suddenly flipped his leg upside down, making a 180-degree half-moon kick, and once again landed on Li Fan. Li Fan took 2 steps back. Li Tai's foot landed on the ground, shattering a piece of the floor. True Qi. Li Fan smiled. Interesting. I didn't expect you to know martial arts too. Xin Qi. No, we're called morality. Li Tai proudly said, it is much stronger than your so-called true Qi. As he spoke, Li Tai activated his morality and leaped into the air, kicking at Li Fan dozens of times. Kim Jingguang was dumbfounded. This was impossible. How could Li Tai have morality? He actually didn't know. When Jin Jingguang thought about how he had guided Li Tai, he just wanted to find a hole to hide in. As for Li Tai, he sent out dozens of kicks in the air, but they were all slapped away by Li Fan's crane hand. Although Li Tai knew some internal martial arts that were similar to true Qi, his strength was only at the point of perfection. Your strength is not bad, but you still need to practice more. Li Fan acted like he was playing with a child. While defending against Li Tai, he said to him, moreover, you have too many useless moves. Regarding those fancy moves, although they look good, they are not practical at all. Martial arts is not a competition. There is no need to look at them. Humph. You talk too much nonsense. My martial arts is perfect. Li Tai did not believe Li Fan's words. His body spun again, creating a whirlwind, and kicked at Li Fan. But this time, Li Fan did not dodge. He allowed Li Tai to kick in front of him. Spirit snake entanglement. Li Fan suddenly extended his right hand and locked Li Tai's calf, forcibly blocking his kick. At the same time, Li Fan's right hand pulled Li Tai in front of him. His left elbow heavily struck Li Tai's lower abdomen. Puff! Li Tai spat out a mouthful of bitter water. He almost fainted. Li Fan was not in a hurry to knock him down. He extended his hand and pushed Li Tai away. Then he beckoned to him. Again. Heart-piercing kick. Li Tai endured the pain. He once again leaped in front of Li Fan. His whole body jumped in the air. His legs were like artillery shells as he kicked horizontally towards Li Fan. Li Fan leaned to the side and raised his leg. His shoulder did not even sway as he kicked Li Tai, who was still in midair. Li Tai spun and flew out, smashing into a pillar, smashing it into pieces. This is called heart-piercing kick. Li Fan retracted his right leg, and a large piece of Li Tai's clothes on the back was torn, and a red bruise appeared on his back. But I held back a bit. You won't die. Li Fan had just sent true energy from his foot into Li Tai's body. Originally, he could have directly kicked Li Tai's heart, but he held back. If he really killed Li Tai, his university life would end prematurely. Li Tai was lying there. Although Li Fan did not kick his heart, he was definitely not feeling well. He vomited again and again, unable to recover for a long time. Let's practice a bit more. Li Fan looked at Jin Jingguang. President, there is no one else. How about we have a spar? Forget it. My stomach is not feeling well. Let's call it a day. How could Jin Jingguang dare to fight with Li Fan? He felt that his 3 views had been impacted. Then I succeeded in kicking the dojo. Succeeded. Jin Jingguang announced unwillingly. All right. Li Fan extended his hand. Jiang Fangfang handed Li Fan sportswear to him. Dear friends and fellow students, the Martial Arts Society will have one last round of recruitment tomorrow. I, Li Fan, welcome all those who wish to join our Martial Arts Society. We will promote Chinese martial arts and become the strongest in the world. Although Li Fan's slogan was a bit exaggerated, his skills today had already awed these people. The Martial Arts Society, Lu Wan couldn't help but say as she watched Li Fan's high-spirited back in the dojo. I'm afraid it's going to be overcrowded. Li Fan's challenge this time was indeed successful. On the last day of recruitment, there was an endless stream of people signing up. On the contrary, the Taekwondo club was not able to recover. Many people left the club to join Li Fan's club. As long as they wanted to learn martial arts, Li Fan fulfilled his promise and accepted them all. Before the recruitment ended, Li Fan had accepted no less than 100 club members. According to Lu Wan there would be more and more in the future. Lu Wan did not lie to Li Fan. She helped Li Fan get a large dance studio to use as the club's activity center. For a new club, a space of more than 200 square meters was already considered very large. What are you doing here? Let's go. On the first day of Li Fan's club activity, he suddenly heard a commotion at the door. Chapter 10:19. Li Fan walked over to take a look. His admirer, the freshman, was blocking another person, not letting him in. Let me in, I want to learn martial arts from Master. This is the Martial Arts Society. You, a Korean, want to learn. Dream on. The admirer scolded, hurry up and go back to your society. You're not welcome here. I won't leave until I see Master. Ma Dan, if it wasn't for the fact that I can't beat you, I would have done it already. The admirer wanted to continue scolding, but Li Fan suddenly reached out and patted his shoulder. Stop talking and get into the horse stance. Getting into the horse stance was Li Fan's first requirement for the Martial Arts Society members. Although his modified version of 7 Heroes Force could improve their physiques, the basics still needed to be practiced. For a martial artist, the lower body was very important. This was also why when he first started learning martial arts, Muronging asked him to do the horse stance every day in class. There was no quick way to master martial arts. Li Fan was already considered to have improved very quickly, but not everyone was like him, possessing a pure yang body. The society originally had a total of 150 members, but after 2 days of boring training, more than 70 had left. But Li Fan was not in a hurry. He strived for perfection. If they couldn't persevere, it was better to leave early. As for those with good physique, Li Fan would focus on training them. And this Li Tai actually came to ask to be his disciple, which surprised Li Fan a little. But he's a Korean. Li Fan's admirer was a little confused. So what if he's a Korean? Martial arts has no boundaries. Li Fan said straightforwardly, in the future, I will open a martial arts school overseas and let the foreigners learn together. But if the foreigners learn it and become powerful, what should we do? Then train hard. Won't it be better if you're stronger than them and defeat them? You're right, President. The admirer nodded and turned around to do the horse stance. After he left, Jiang Yuan came over to join in the fun. Io, isn't this Li Tai? What's up? Are you here to visit us? I'm here to acknowledge you as my master. Li Tai bowed to Li Fan. I hope you can accept me as your disciple. First of all, it's not just a simple bow to accept a disciple in our country. Secondly, I no longer accept disciples. If you want to learn martial arts, I'll teach you. Really? Li Tai was a little excited. I can learn martial arts from you. Sure. Li Fan pointed at the students who were doing the horse stance. But it'll be a little boring at the beginning. You go do the horse stance first. All right. Li Tai immediately nodded. I will let you see my perseverance. With that said, he walked over without hesitation and squatted there with the other students. However, Li Tai had never practiced the horse stance before, so his squatting posture was not very accurate. Jiang Yuan immediately walked over and kicked his shin. Squat down a little more. Li Tai obediently complied. Keep squatting. Keep squatting. Why are you like a girl? Are you afraid of pulling your balls? Why are you squatting so deep? Taking a shit? Raise it higher. Yes, it's about right now. It's barely enough. Squat down properly, I'll come check you. Li Fan couldn't help but want to laugh. Jiang Yuan, this girl, was too funny. Li Tai had just arrived, but he already went to throw down his horse stance. Speaking of which, the martial arts of the two of you are at least at the level of reaching the next level. Li Fan said to Jiang Fangfang, who was waving the 8-trigram saber at the side. Yes. Jiang Fangfang nodded. But I didn't practice martial arts seriously in high school. So, my martial arts fell behind a little. Otherwise, I should be able to reach the peak of perfection. The martial arts world's major sects have countless experts. Li Fan couldn't help but praise, especially the young talents of this generation. There are quite a few of them. I hope that in a few years, the martial arts world will be able to reproduce the golden age of grandmasters walking everywhere and reaching the peak as many as dogs. Pfft, Jiang Fangfang was quite serious at first, but she was amused by Li Fan at once. What you said? Why don't I look forward to it at all? How can I not be serious? Chinese martial arts are declining, and I'm also working hard and worrying about all kinds of things. It's not easy for me. Li Fan looked like he was worried about the country and the people. Do you really want to open a martial arts club? Jiang Fangfang couldn't help but ask. Of course, otherwise I wouldn't have come to City G. Li Fan looked at the students who were training in front of him. But it's easy to say, but difficult to do. Look at these students here. I'm going to have a month of intensive training first. But after a month, I don't know how many of them will be left. Maybe quite a lot. You're just comforting yourself with this. Li Fan looked at the calluses on Jiang Fangfang's hands. I don't need to say how difficult it is to practice martial arts. You should know it yourself. It's indeed difficult to practice martial arts, but it's like sailing against the current. Once you reach the upper reaches, you'll naturally be able to swim freely. You're right, but how many people can swim against the current? Li Fan sighed. There are fewer and fewer people, so I want to pass on my martial arts to more people. It's good if one more person can swim up. We'll help you. Jiang Fangfang comforted Li Fan. Aren't you afraid that your family will criticize you too? Father only hopes that brother will inherit the family. Jiang Fangfang's face darkened. Your family is so fertile, isn't it? Triplets. Of course not. The two of us have the same father, but different mothers. Jiang Fangfang explained. Hey, why do you care so much about our gossip? Jiang Yuanyuan came over. Mr. President, you're still like a girl, interested in gossip. No matter what, you're all the core members of my club. Li Fan looked at Jiang Yuanyuan's mischievous look and couldn't help but scratch her nose again. Won't you let me show some concern? You're scratching my nose again. It's all gone. Jiang Yuanyuan slapped Li Fan's paw away. If your hand isn't honest, I'll chop it off. Then you'll have to defeat me first. If you teach me martial arts, I'll be able to defeat you. Aren't you from the 8 trigram school? Li Fan asked. Why do you still want to learn my martial arts? Because I think your martial arts are amazing. Every martial art is amazing. Li Fan reminded Jiang Yuanyuan. As long as you keep practicing, you'll be able to achieve something. I first practiced the simplest 5 animal frolics, but I persevered until the end. With some of my own creations, it became the current 7-hero fist. I heard that the 7-hero fist is one of the top 10 martial arts. Jiang Yuanyuan was still curious. I still want to learn. Oh, then let's spar. I'll see your foundation and then decide what kind of martial arts to teach you. Li Fan wasn't stingy and suggested. Chapter 10:20. You want us sisters to kill each other. Jiang Yuanyuan pouted and looked at Li Fan. Tell me, what are your intentions? If you don't spar, how can I judge your strength and bone structure? Li Fan smiled bitterly. If you want to learn, then be serious. You're good, watching 2 beauties fight. Jiang Yuanyuan crossed her arms and looked at Li Fan. You still have the heart of a thief, huh? What are you saying, Fangfang, what do you think? Li Fan asked for his sister's opinion. Sure. Jiang Fangfang agreed. I think we can give it a try. Okay, look, now it's 2 against 1, there's no point in objecting. Li Fan looked at Jiang Yuanyuan with some pride. Sister, you're not on the same side as me anymore. Aren't you the one who wants to learn? Then we should still maintain our girl's integrity. This is our girl's modesty. Then are you going to learn or not? Yes. Jiang Yuanyuan said and took a stance, both hands stretched out in front of her, looking at her sister. The surrounding club members couldn't help but look at these 2 beauties, knowing that they were also proficient in martial arts. It seemed like they would be able to broaden their horizons today. Please enlighten me. Jiang Fangfang cupped her hands at her sister, then used the 8 trigrams perplexing footwork. Even though there was a distance of 2 meters between them, she actually arrived in front of Jiang Yuanyuan in 1 step, and at the same time, sent a palm towards Jiang Yuanyuan's lower abdomen. But Jiang Yuanyuan wasn't weak either. She flipped to the side, jumped up, pressed down on her sister's shoulder, flipped in the air, and then sent a palm towards the middle of her back. Jiang Fangfang used the iron bridge, fell backward, stopped in midair, and simultaneously sent a palm strike behind her. Jiang Yuanyuan exchanged a few palm strikes with her sister, and Jiang Yuanyuan relied on the momentum of her palm strikes, forcing her sister to retreat. The 2 of them fought, a pair of beauties, and the fight was very erotic. And Li Fan observed for a while, almost figuring out the characteristics of their moves. Although they were both 8 trigram palms, Jiang Yuanyuan's moves were more flexible, and she liked all kinds of active attacks. However, Jiang Fangfang's attacks were more steady. Each of her moves was meticulous, and she had very few flaws. However, he was too calm and lacked the drive of a battle. The two sisters fought more and more fiercely, as if they were anxious to determine who was stronger. "All right, let's stop here." Li Fan had seen enough and asked the two sisters to stop. However, the two of them had already fought to the point where they didn't even recognize each other. This was the nature of martial arts competitions. Once they started fighting, it was very easy for things to go awry. The two of them weren't too far apart in strength. The more they fought, the angrier they became, and the more they wanted to fight. Humph. Jiang Yuanyuan was the first to be unhappy. She suddenly took 2 steps back, reached out, and took out 2 white jade fans from the bag hanging on the side. "You use a fan." Jiang Fangfang raised her eyebrows. "Fine, you forced me to do this." As she said that, she kicked the shelf beside her. The 8 trigram saber that Li Fan bought was kicked up by her, and she grabbed it in her hand. Li Fan was a little surprised. These two girls had started to play with weapons. Jiang Yuanyuan's 2 fans were like iron fans. In her hands, she fanned, blew, hit, and occasionally threw them out. Using the fans as hidden weapons was very exciting. Jiang Fangfang's 8 trigram saber was also very good. She waved the saber around her body, as if forming an array, blocking Jiang Yuanyuan's attack. This kind of array seemed to be unable to even pour water into it. Even Li Fan wanted to give it a try. The two girls, one with the 8 trigram fan and the other with the 8 trigram saber, actually increased their strength a little. However, Jiang Yuanyuan could also use the fan as a weapon. This also made Li Fan very interested. "I have accepted 2 awesome members." Li Fan wanted to secretly be happy. This was indeed too awesome. To be able to randomly pick up a treasure, it was really amazing. "All right, stop fighting." Li Fan wrapped his voice with his true qi and shouted. With a lion's roar, the 2 girls were blown away, and their attacks were blocked. "Ah. Jiang Yuanyuan was a little unhappy. "Why did you stop us? We haven't finished fighting yet. The 2 of you can fight for a year." Li Fan reminded them, "The 2 of you understand each other's moves too well." "That's true," Jiang Yuanyuan agreed with Li Fan's words. "I know in my heart what move sister is going to use. And then let's not fight." Jiang Fangfang casually threw the 8 trigram saber back to the knife shelf. However, Li Fan always felt that the 2 of them were still hiding something. A trump card was not something that could be casually taken out. "All right, now it's your turn, right?" Jiang Yuanyuan asked, "What do you think the 2 of us should learn?" "If it's Yuanyuan, you should be more steady." Li Fan thought for a moment and then said, "You can learn a bit of my bear strike technique to train your lower body." Bear strike technique. That doesn't sound good. But it's useful. Li Fan waved at Jiang Yuanyuan, Come over here and attack me." Full power. Jiang Yuanyuan seemed to be a little excited. "I like this." Jiang Yuanyuan smiled. She seemed to be really happy. She took a step forward and arrived in front of Li Fan. Then, she used the 8 trigram perplexing footwork and disappeared from Li Fan's sight, moving behind him. Before Li Fan turned around, Jiang Yuanyuan moved to the side again. She moved 3 steps in a row and then hit Li Fan's waist with her palm. Jiang Yuanyuan was indeed merciless. Her palm was like a knife, trying to poke Li Fan's waist. However, Li Fan stood there unmoved, allowing Jiang Yuanyuan's fingers to touch his waist. However, at this moment, Li Fan's hand grabbed Jiang Yuanyuan's wrist. Then, with a twist of his body, he lifted Jiang Yuanyuan up and threw her over his shoulder onto the ground. Before Jiang Yuanyuan could react, Li Fan's palm had already landed in front of her cheek and stopped there. The wind from his palm blew on the ground, causing it to tremble slightly. The essence of the bear strike technique is to be as immovable as a mountain. Li Fan told her, as the saying goes, move like a fleeing rabbit and be as still as a virgin. This is the true way of practicing martial arts. Do you understand? You're bullying me. Jiang Yuanyuan laid on the ground and stretched out her hand. Pull me up. Li Fan pulled Jiang Yuanyuan's hand, but Jiang Yuanyuan suddenly used his strength to press down on Li Fan, pushing him to the ground. Then, she rode on Li Fan's body and looked at him triumphantly. Do you see that? You lost. Really? Li Fan smiled. He slammed his palms on the ground and stood up straight. Jiang Yuanyuan was hanging on his body in shock. Chapter 10:21. Relying on the strength of his palms, he forcefully pulled his body up. And this time, Li Fan didn't even use his true qi. This was simply unbelievable. Li Fan's control of his body was really too good. Bear King raises cauldron. Li Fan grabbed Jiang Yuanyuan and threw her into the air. Then, when Jiang Yuanyuan couldn't control her body, he slapped her with his palm. Bear King seal. Li Fan roared, and then a palm imprinted on Jiang Yuanyuan's body. Jiang Yuanyuan was immediately sent flying. In a blink of an eye, she fell more than 10 meters away and fell to the ground. Li Fan had used his skillful force. Although Jiang Yuanyuan was sent flying, other than the pain in her butt, she didn't suffer any other injuries. So powerful. Jiang Fangfang couldn't help but praise him. But Jiang Yuanyuan was still a bit unconvinced. You bully me. The one who bullied me is you. You're riding me, aren't you going to take responsibility? Li Fan asked. Who the hell wants to take responsibility for you? Jiang Yuanyuan pouted at Li Fan. Why don't I let my sister take responsibility for you? After all, we're sisters. Go to hell. I don't want to be impotent. Jiang Fangfang's joke could no longer be played. Do you want to try if I'm impotent? Li Fan looked at Jiang Fangfang as if he was demonstrating. I don't want to. Li Fan's face was covered with tears. Forget it. You guys continue to practice. You haven't taught me my method. Jiang Fangfang didn't forget her own benefits. Learn my crane strike technique. Li Fan said, your kung fu is too stable, but not aggressive enough. Crane strike can strengthen your defense, and at the same time, make your movements more graceful. Li Fan waved at her. Come on, attack me. Okay. Jiang Fangfang nodded her head and raised her hand, but she didn't rush to attack. Instead, she chose to observe Li Fan's movements. Alright, then I'll attack you. As Li Fan spoke, his feet bounced off the ground. His body immediately made 3 swallows in the air and quickly arrived in front of Jiang Fangfang. Jiang Fangfang had already locked onto Li Fan. She immediately raised her hand and slammed it towards Li Fan's vital point. However, Li Fan's hand pressed down on Jiang Fangfang's wrist. His figure was extremely graceful as he floated up once again. Then, with a crane's beak hand, he quickly poked the acupuncture point on Jiang Fangfang's left shoulder. Jiang Fangfang's left shoulder immediately went numb, and her left hand temporarily lost feeling. But she did not panic. Her right palm moved upwards, aiming for Li Fan's chin. Li Fan's body slid backwards, dodging Jiang Fangfang's palm. Jiang Fangfang was unwilling to give up. She took a step forward and followed up with a palm strike. But Li Fan slid out again. He kept retreating against Jiang Fangfang's palm. No matter how hard Jiang Fangfang pushed, she could not touch Li Fan's clothes. Li Fan, on the other hand, had locked onto Jiang Fangfang's weak point. The white crane nodded and hit Jiang Fangfang's acupuncture point. But Jiang Yuanyuan's palm had unknowingly stuck onto Li Fan's arm and pushed his move away. "President, you're so powerful. It's too difficult to fight alone. Let's fight together." Jiang Yuanyuan winked at Li Fan. Sisters of one mind, their sharpness can cut through gold. Jiang Fangfang and she looked at each other, and then the two of them attacked together. Jiang Fangfang's numb left hand had also recovered. The two of them, one on the left and one on the right, continuously attacked Li Fan with Bagua Zhang. But what kind of person was Li Fan? Even if the two beautiful sisters attacked together, he could still handle it. Li Fan continued to use the crane's beak hand, slapping away the sisters' Bagua Zhang. But the sisters' coordination was very good. They once again displayed the move that they used to deal with the Taekwondo club. Jiang Yuanyuan's palms struck out together, slapping towards Li Fan's head. Li Fan separated his palms and once again pushed away her attack. But Jiang Fangfang was already squatting on the ground. Both her hands grabbed onto Li Fan's calf, and then lifted it up. Li Fan's body was slanted, but he took advantage of the situation and leaped backwards. He somersaulted in the air and landed on the ground. But the two beautiful sisters, one in front and one behind, attacked Li Fan together. Li Fan's body was in midair. No matter where he landed, the beautiful sisters Bagua Zhang would be waiting for him. But when Li Fan's palms met the two sisters' palms, the two sisters could not withstand Li Fan's strength and half knelt on the ground. Li Fan used the force to slide out and landed on the ground. "Who dares to bully my brother-in-law?" Before Li Fan could remind the two sisters, an angry girl's shout came from outside. Following that, a slim and petite figure stood outside, holding a ruler in her hand, and directly lifted it up. It was just a ruler, but it swept out a sword energy. This sword energy scraped the ground as it flew over, tearing a crack in the ground. And Li Fan quickly flew up with a kick, breaking this sword energy. "Humph, you coquettish sluts. Don't even think of hitting my brother-in-law." Murong loved to stand at the door. Li Fan broke out in a cold sweat. This little girl, she really came. "Brother-in-law." The little girl ran over and bumped into Li Fan's embrace, acting like a spoiled child. The surrounding male students drooled. This Li Fan, where did he get so many girls, and even a beautiful sister-in-law? This bastard, he was too envious. How could he let other men live? Hey, who are you calling a coquettish slut?" Jiang Yuanyuan was unhappy. She raised her true qi and looked at the little girl acting like a spoiled child in Li Fan's embrace. "Humph, I'm talking about you guys. You actually dare to bully my brother-in-law." Murong loved to make a face at Jiang Yuanyuan. "If brother-in-law did not help you guys would have died under my Murong sword energy." Murong sword energy. Jiang Fangfang carefully looked at her. "You are Murong Ying's sister?" "Of course." Murong loved to smile as she looked at Li Fan. "Brother-in-law, since my sister broke off the engagement with you, then I can marry brother-in-law." "You, calm down." Li Fan had a headache. This girl was too impulsive. Her sister was not here to care about her, she wanted to fly. "You little girl, so annoying." Jiang Yuanyuan was all sorts of unhappy, glaring at Murong. "Go away, this is our martial arts society, we don't welcome outsiders. Isn't it just G University? You can easily get in." Murong loved to hug Li Fan tightly like a mother hen, not letting other women get close. "I'm warning you guys. Brother-in-law belongs to my Murong family. If any of you women dare to get close, I will never let you off. There was a woman who wanted to look for brother-in-law, humph humph, and I caught her. There was a woman who wanted to look for me. Li Fan quickly asked, who was it? I'm not very familiar with her, a girl with the surname Lu, something Nan. Your sister. Where did you catch her? Chapter 10:22. For the first time, Lu Xinan wanted to cry. She was with several other girls in a small, stuffy room. She looked at the women around her warily. They were all wearing heavy makeup and waiting for the night's business. An old woman who looked like a monster walked in. Seeing Lu Xinan sitting in the corner, she stepped forward and held her hand, as if to comfort her. Nan, I'm telling you, everyone has their first time. Believe me, I've been through it. With your looks, you can definitely be a red card. In a few years, you can earn enough money to buy a house. Of course, it's impossible to buy a house in G City, but you can buy one at home. You can also buy a good car, and then find a man who looks good to marry. He'll be the one to take over. See, isn't that good? Get lost. Lu Xinan slapped the woman's hand away. Don't come near me. Yo. You're quite hot-tempered. The old woman sneered. Now that you're here, it's not up to you. How dare you? Lu Xinan glared at them with her beautiful eyes. Do you know who I am? Aren't you an undocumented immigrant? You don't even have an ID. The old woman found Lu Xinan in a shabby little hotel. At that time, she stayed there for 3 days and almost fainted from hunger. She didn't have any ID with her. What kind of background could this kind of woman have? She must be an undocumented immigrant who was abducted when she was a child. This woman was indeed quite beautiful, although the clothes she was wearing at that time were very shabby. The old woman brought her to her shop, bought her some food, and brought her to her shop. It would be a waste if she didn't use such a beautiful face to make money. I'm the Missy of the Lu Group. The president of the Red Dragon Society. If you dare to touch me, I'll raise this place to the ground. I-oh, why don't you say you're the Queen of England? The old woman laughed. Look at yourself. You don't look like the Missy of a group. And what Red Dragon Society? What is that? Look at the clothes you're wearing. I bought them for you. If you know how to be grateful, then honestly accept customers. I will help you arrange a few rich big clients. I guarantee that you will not lose out. If you don't like it, I'll find a few street laborers to beat you to death, you little rascal. As she spoke, she grabbed Lu Xinan's hand. Hurry up and follow me. Serve your customers well. Lu Xinan bit the old woman's arm, causing her to scream in pain. Then, she swung her hand and slapped Lu Xinan's face, causing Lu Xinan's mouth to bleed. Little Lang Bai. I think you're tired of living. Just you wait, let Manager Wang come in and teach you a lesson. With that, she stormed out of the door. A woman in a red dress walked over and squatted beside Lu Xinan, handing her a towel. Wipe your mouth. Lu Xinan slapped her hand away. Why bother, now that you're here, it's not up to you. Stay away from me, I think you're dirty. Lu Xinan scolded. Little Lang Bai, what are you? You deserve to be fucked. You think you're a good person, you're just a whore. The surrounding women all scolded, but the woman in red had a better temper. She still tried to persuade her. None of the women here are born to want to sell themselves. It's all for the sake of living. If our family's environment is good, how many would be willing to do this? Get lost, don't talk reason with me. When I get out of here, I'll flatten this place. Lu Xinan's current state of mind was very explosive, and the woman in red said another sentence to her. What's the use of you scolding so fiercely? You'll only be taught a worse lesson. Lu Xinan's state of mind was still exploding, but after hearing the woman in red's words, she suddenly calmed down. This woman was right. What's the use of exploding my state of mind? I'll only get beaten up. I'm Lu Xinan, the big boss of the Red Dragon Society, in charge of such a large group, such a large organization. How could I be bullied by this kind of small brothel? Lu Xinan's brain quickly turned. She was thinking of a way to deal with it. Seeing that she had calmed down, the woman in red didn't try to persuade her anymore. Not long after, a tall man walked in, gave the other women a thumbs up, over his shoulder, and pointed at the door behind him. You, be careful, don't resist, he's very cruel, the woman in red reminded her in her ear, then walked out with the other girls. Little girl, let Grandpa serve you first. This was Manager Wang, who was responsible for testing the skills of the female technicians. If the service of the female technicians was not good, they would not be able to serve the customers. However, for this new woman, it didn't matter if she was good or not. Because she was beautiful enough, as long as she knew how to light a fire, she would be able to satisfy the customers. Serve Grandpa well, Grandpa will be gentle to you. Manager Wang smiled, the scar on his face twitched. Got it. Lu Xinan looked wronged. Don't hit me, I'm afraid of pain. Ha ha ha, fine, as long as you serve me well, Grandpa promises not to hit you. The man laughed, then reached out his hand, trying to grab Lu Xinan. I'll help you. Lu Xinan took the initiative. I'll help you take off your clothes. You're quite good, I thought you would be hard to handle. Come, quickly taste this Grandpa's lethal weapon. Manager Wang stood there, letting Lu Xinan walk over, reach out her hands, and slowly undid his belt. Lu Xinan took off Manager Wang's underwear, pulled it down to his calf, then stood up, both of her hands on Manager Wang's neck. That small cherry mouth seemed to want to kiss Manager Wang. Manager Wang was waiting to enjoy, but at this time, Lu Xinan suddenly raised her leg, her thigh heavily hit Manager Wang's lethal weapon. Manager Wang screamed, directly kneeling on the ground. Lu Xinan pulled out a dagger from Manager Wang's pants and ruthlessly stabbed Manager Wang's temple. Manager Wang immediately collapsed and died. Lu Xinan struggled to pull out the dagger, used his clothes to wipe the dagger clean, and then walked out of the room. Those women were still standing outside the door, some were putting on makeup, some were smoking, and some were spraying perfume. They saw Lu Xinan with a bloody face, holding a dagger, walk out of the room, and were shocked. Lu Xinan made a shushing gesture to them. Dead people. A woman looked into the room and screamed in fright. Incompetent fellow. Lu Xinan spat, turned around, and ran toward the door. Chapter 1023. Lu Xinan hurriedly runs out. The gate is right in front of her. She will soon escape from here. But at this time, a lot of big men suddenly follow behind her. That old woman is panting and running at the back while cursing. Catch her. Don't let her escape. The gate is right in front. Lu Xinan's eyes are burning with hope. But at this time, a big man is standing at the gate. He directly locks the gate and sneers at Lu Xinan. Lu Xinan frowns. Without hesitation, she rushes forward and stabs the big man's chest with her dagger. But that big man slaps away Lu Xinan's dagger and then kicks Lu Xinan's stomach. Lu Xinan somersaults and hits the wall behind her. The pain makes it difficult for her to breathe. She can't stand up for a long time. No. I can't fall down. Lu Xinan says to herself, if she falls down, then everything is over. Little girl, you still want to run after killing someone. I'll skin you alive. The old woman rushes over and wants to give Lu Xinan another kick. While Lu Xinan is dizzy. Her vision turns black as she kneels there. In her darkened vision, she saw that the locked iron door suddenly flew out as if it had exploded, and the door knocked away several burly men. Two figures walk in, a man and a woman. A familiar man. When Lu Xinan sees him, her mood finally relaxes. She heavily falls to the ground and fainted. Li Fan stands at the door with anger in his eyes. Look at what you've done. He is reprimanding the beautiful girl beside him. I didn't do it on purpose. I just wanted to monopolize brother-in-law. Murong pouts. I don't want to give you to another woman. Don't mess around next time. I'll pretend that I don't know you, okay? I know I'm wrong. I won't dare to do it again. Murong hurriedly apologizes. Her brother-in-law is really angry this time. Where did this brat come from? How dare he cause trouble here? The old woman calmed herself down from her shock. He was just a little brat, yet he dared to come here and act cool. Although he didn't know how he opened the door, he was dead meat. Go, remove his legs. The old woman shouted, and 3 burly men carrying watermelon knives pounced on Li Fan like wolves and tigers. Li Fan's body suddenly disappeared, and the 3 people's watermelon knives slashed the air. The 3 burly men were stunned. They didn't understand what was going on. Where is he? Where did he go? Where did he go? At this time, Li Fan appeared beside Lu Xinan and gently hugged her in his arms. It's okay, I'm here to pick you up. Lu Xinan slept quietly in Li Fan's arms, as if death would never come as long as Li Fan was there. Brother-in-law is angry. Murong's voice suddenly sounded. The 3 burly men turned around and saw the beautiful little girl standing in front of them. The little girl smiled sweetly. The 3 people were infected by her smile and couldn't help but smile. But in the next second, the heads of the 3 of them flew into the air. Their heads were dragged by a few threads, and they flew in all directions, accompanied by fresh blood. Sorry, you all must die. Heavens, heavens, the surrounding people screamed and couldn't believe their eyes. That little girl, how did she take off 3 people's heads? Demon, demon. The old woman was stunned. She took out a small pistol from her pocket and was about to shoot at Murong. But a thin steel wire suddenly wrapped around the old woman's hand. Then, the old woman's hand changed direction and aimed at one of her men. Bang! A gunshot sounded, and one of the men lay in a pool of blood. The rest of the men were frightened. Why did the general manager hit their own people? No, it's not me. The old woman was about to cry. She pulled the trigger again and killed several of her men until she ran out of bullets. Demon, you are a demon. The old woman cried. You can go and accompany them now. Murong said and moved her finger. The old woman saw the objects around her falling down rapidly. The scenery seemed to be spinning. No, it's not the scenery that's spinning, it's her head that flew up. Hee, brother-in-law, did I do well? Murong returned to her cute appearance. Squatting beside Li Fan, she smiled sweetly at Li Fan as if asking for credit. Li Fan suspected that if she had a tail, she would be wagging it at him. Not bad. Li Fan reached out his hand and touched her head, but next time, you should be more efficient. Isn't it good to kill this old woman instantly? Hee, I like the feeling of control and teasing. Murong smiled innocently. As long as you're happy. Li Fan patted his head again. Let's go back first. Remember to apologize to Lu Xinan. Okay, I'll listen to brother-in-law. As long as brother-in-law is not angry. Let's go. The two of them took Lu Xinan and quickly left the place. Not long after, the police surrounded this place. But other than destroying a brothel, they found nothing. Li Fan. Lu Xinan slowly opened her eyes and found a girl sitting by her bed, fiddling with her mobile phone. Lu Xinan's heart turned cold. She subconsciously looked for the dagger but found herself naked. You're awake. Murong was playing an online game. Without raising her head, she said, I'm sorry about last time. I knocked you out and threw you away. I didn't expect you to be caught as a prostitute. But you can't blame me. Who told you to be so beautiful? That's why they had evil thoughts. You. Damn it. Lu Xinan angrily looked at Murong. I must kill you. Murong's little girl. I advise you to give up on this idea. Whether it's force or family background, I'm different from my sister. I'm different from my sister. I'm more direct when it comes to my rivals in love. What do you want to do? Lu Xinan asked, if you have the ability, kill me here. That won't do. Your brother-in-law's little pet. If I kill you, brother-in-law will be angry. I don't want brother-in-law to be angry. So, let's shake hands first. Although I'm not willing. Little girl, you're really annoying. Lu Xinan was also an underworld lady. But this time, she was threatened by another little girl. This was simply a great humiliation. One day, I'll return the humiliation you've given me twofold. Okay, I'll wait. Chapter 1024. Eldest Miss, you're finally back. Yufeng stood in front of the Bentley and bowed to Lu Xinan, who had changed back into her gorgeous clothes. We've searched the whole of G City, but we couldn't find any news of you. Useless. Lu Xinan gave Yufeng a slap. I am sorry, please punish me, eldest miss, you're still useful now, we'll talk about your punishment later. Lu Xinan snorted coldly, returned to a city. Eldest miss, aren't you going to look for Li Fan? Before that, there's something else I need to do. Lu Xinan sighed in her heart. She needed to increase her strength, otherwise she wouldn't be able to win back Li Fan. She didn't expect that after Murong left, another Murong's love appeared. That was enough, this also proved her own helplessness. Lu Xinan hated this. Whatever she wanted, she would definitely be able to fight for it. Whatever she got from charity was trash. Li Fan's value was worth improving and fighting for. Eldest miss, your private jet has been repaired and can be transferred over any time. All right. Lu Xinan nodded, let's go home. Yes, eldest miss. Li Fan glanced at the text message. Lu Xinan is finally back. Li Fan heaved a sigh of relief. Xia Ho also followed him home. The girls had finally returned. He still had a lot of things to do in G University. It was indeed troublesome with them around. Li Fan ran his martial arts society while attending classes. After a month of training, there were only 40 people left in the martial arts society, and they were still struggling. Most of the remaining people had left. After all, the martial arts society's training intensity was much higher than other societies. Alright, the remaining people are at least strong-willed. Li Fan stood in the classroom and looked at the people in front of him. Lu Wanner and Lin Yuhsian were also among them, but Lin Yuhsian was not interested in practicing martial arts, while Lu Wanner was very interested. Especially since Lu Wanner had been practicing yoga, some basic training was not too difficult for her. Is today a class for advancement? Jiang Yuanyuan was very smart and immediately understood. Of course, you've been training for a month. I'm afraid you're already looking forward to real ancient martial arts. Of course. Lu Wanner quickly nodded. I've been looking forward to it for a long time, but can we really learn it? Sure. Li Fan nodded. He stretched out his left hand, and a mass of true qi slowly condensed in his palm, slowly forming into a ball. The balloon kept spinning and was then thrown out by Li Fan. Bang! A wooden stake that was erected at the side was immediately snapped in half by the balloon. Wow! The club members cried out in surprise and applauded. President, you're too cool. Li Fan's admirers shouted one after another. There were also a few remaining female club members who were also throwing flirtatious glances at him. Humph. Jiang Yuanyuan snorted twice. Li Fan said that you're also a very powerful martial artist. Do you know such a move? Lu Wanner asked Jiang Yuanyuan, who was sitting cross-legged at the side. Humph. She doesn't know. Jiang Fangfang said from the side, we all don't know. Releasing true qi is a very profound skill. Actually, it's not profound at all. It's just a kind of control over true qi. Li Fan smiled. What I'm going to teach you is a simplified version of the Seven Heroes Fist. It's a simplified version of the Seven Heroes Force. The Seven Heroes Fist can train your physique, and the Seven Heroes Force can adjust your breathing and nourish your qi. If you start training now, those who are fast can reach my level in a month and those who are slow can reach my level in a year. Impossible. Jiang Yuanyuan couldn't believe it. To release true qi, you need to at least reach the peak of strength. Can you reach this level in a year? Of course not. It's just that my true qi control ability is very easy to learn. I don't need to train to such a high level. Li Fan explained, because my kung fu uses qi to nourish people, and then uses people to cultivate qi. Internal and external techniques complement each other, and you can reach the level I just used. Is it difficult to train? A student couldn't help but ask. It's not difficult, but the Seven Heroes Fist has a total of 7 fish techniques. It's impossible for you to train all of them. I suggest that you choose one that you like, or one that suits you, and then refine it. It'll have a better effect. Right now I have 2 disciples. No, 3. They all chose one of them to study in depth. What are the 7 gates? Although Jiang Yuanyuan had heard of the Seven Heroes Fist, she didn't study it in depth. It's Tiger Strike, Bear Strike, Ape Strike, Deer Strike, Crane Strike, Toad Strike, and Snake Strike. Jiang Fangfang was very familiar with them. The 2 of us are learning Bear Strike and Crane Strike, which represent physique and grappling respectively. There's also elegance and defense. Fangfang is right. Li Fan nodded. These are the 7. As for the remaining ones, Tiger Strike represents bravery and continuous attacks, Ape Strike represents agility and movement, Deer Strike represents endurance and kicking. Toad Strike and Snake Strike are my creations, which represent true qi and defense and counterattack respectively. It sounds very powerful. The club members couldn't help but discuss. Only Li Tai, the Korean, was the quietest. He had been silently practicing according to Li Fan's method. You can choose your own path, but the internal strength won't change. Start with the breathing technique and slowly train. It sounds like yoga. Lu Wanner muttered, it's just breathing practice. The way of breathing is different. Li Fan smiled, everyone follow my rhythm, I'll teach you how to practice. Li Fan taught them the breathing technique that he had learned. After practicing for a while, Lu Wanner couldn't help but ask, is it really effective? Don't you feel anything? Li Fan asked with a smile, do you feel like your breathing is smoother and the turbid air in your body is pulled out? It feels better. Is this the effect of the breathing technique? Yes. Li Fan nodded. This breathing technique can train your lungs, allowing you to absorb oxygen more effectively. Remember, most of the power of a martial fighter comes from the power of burning oxygen. In simple words, it's energy. The way we humans absorb energy is very simple, by inhaling oxygen and taking in food. Taking in food is a fixed consumption, only inhaling oxygen is a way that can be done at all times. As long as you follow my method, you can definitely cultivate your own energy. Li Fan taught them the first step of the mental cultivation method, breathing. 3 days later, he publicized the mental cultivation method for the club members to practice. 1 week later, due to their different talents, everyone had different improvements. Li Fan stood in the classroom, looking at the people in front of him. Come, I want to test your strength. Chapter 10:25. Although humans were born equal, they all had different innate talents. In Li Fan's martial arts club, there was also the difference between mediocre and outstanding members. Li Fan stood in the classroom, inspecting the training progress of more than 40 club members. According to the normal way of practicing martial arts, one should first practice external force to strengthen the body to a certain extent before practicing internal force. However, Li Fan was the opposite. He first absorbed more than 10 years of internal force from Murong Ying, and then trained his external force under Murong Ying's training. This kind of unique conditions, coupled with Li Fan's pure yang body, allowed him to practice external force faster and more smoothly. Therefore, Li Fan used this method to train his club members. First awaken the true qi in their bodies, and then let them become stronger. Using internal force to stimulate physical strength was a quick way to achieve success. Li Fan checked around and found that most of the club members were still at the most basic stage of internal force. A few of them could only feel a flow of qi circulating in their bodies, but they could not grasp it and needed to continue training. There were also some who could control a little bit of true qi and release it to their fingertips. This talent was already very good. Is that so? Lu Wanner opened her palm in front of Li Fan. On top of that beautiful palm, there was an oval ball of true qi the size of an egg slowly rotating. Ha! Li Fan was a little surprised. You're improving very fast. In such a short time, she could already feel true qi, and could even circulate it to such a level. It was really amazing. Is it considered qualified? Lu Wanner asked. Of course it is. Li Fan could not help but speak his mind. To be honest, I'm still a little surprised. Your ability to understand in this aspect is quite strong. I told you it's because of yoga. Lu Wanner was a little proud. I've been practicing breathing techniques for a long time. Is that so? Li Fan thought for a moment. It was probably the Indian yoga, which had the effect of nourishing qi in the breathing. Tai, how's your training going? Li Fan walked towards the Korean student. Although Li Tai had cultivated morality before, he could not release it. He could only use it to strengthen his body. Yes, I have a feeling. Li Tai raised his index finger, and there was a grain-sized gas revolving on it. It's already very good. Li Fan nodded. After all, your previous training method is already deeply ingrained. If you learn my method now, it will be a little strenuous in the early stages. Li Fan comforted Li Tai, but the more you practice, the smoother it will become. Hee, why do I feel like you're a multi-level marketer? Jiang Yuanyuan was playing with a ball of energy at the side. After a few more treatments, there will be better results, right? Loquacious. Just bored. Jiang Yuanyuan sighed. Look, I can even release my true qi. I'm still far from it. Tisk, can you do better? Jiang Yuanyuan said as she stretched out both her hands. There was a ball of energy on both her hands, and it was the size of a football. Lu Wanner and Li Tai looked at her enviously. This woman was amazing. Although Jiang Fangfang did not like to show off as much as Jiang Yuanyuan, her level was almost the same as her sister. There is no limit to martial arts. Li Fan smiled. So, no matter how strong you are, you have to put away your arrogance. As he finished speaking, he stretched out his right hand, and a ball of energy condensed on top of his palm. At first, it was only the size of a grain of rice, then it expanded to the size of an egg, and then to the size of a football, but it still continued to expand. Soon, the members of the club were shocked. Li Fan raised his hand above his head, and an indescribably huge ball of energy appeared on top of his head. If it continued to expand, the whole classroom would be crushed. Li Fan contracted the ball of energy again. He did not release the power of the ball of energy, but forcefully compressed it. Soon, an egg-sized ball of energy condensed in his hand, but it was black and spinning, and there seemed to be thunder and lightning around it. Even Jiang Yuanyuan could feel such a strong power. That black ball of energy was so terrifying, and it contained a power that she could not resist. But, scary, this man was amazing. For us martial artists, power is a weapon. If we are too arrogant, the weapon will hurt us instead. As Li Fan said this, he reached out and crushed the ball of energy. Stay humble, don't forget. Li Fan glanced at the club members. You guys are the same. The 7 heroes fish that I teach, after you guys learn it, it will not only strengthen your body. So, everyone, remember, if any of you want to do evil, no matter where you go, I, Li Fan, will personally kill you. Li Fan was not joking. Everyone present felt a chill down their spine. The club is running well now. Lin Yuhsian had no interest in practicing martial arts. Her biggest wish was to use her brain to help Li Fan. Li Fan had countless experts around him, so what he needed the most was a brain. After all, his other brain had already been sent to the Li family island. According to this development, we should have hope of establishing a martial arts center. Lin Yuhsian listed all the data. The martial arts center will probably lose money for a period of time in the initial stage, but with the current escort agency, it is completely affordable. The data is good. The club was indeed a part of Li Fan's martial arts center, like a simulation test. But every step needs to be taken carefully. I have already chosen the location of the martial arts center. Lin Yuhsian helped Li Fan find out the details. Murong AI has already gone there to talk to the agent. What? Li Fan was shocked. You're asking Murong AI to go there? Are you crazy? She's not a child anymore. Lin Yuhsian shrugged. She volunteered, and I let her go, seeing that she was full of confidence. You. What are you thinking? Li Fan did not know what to say. This girl, can't you trust her a little? You should handle this personally. Stop it, I still have classes, I can't just leave like that. Lin Yuhsian rolled her eyes at Li Fan. Don't forget, we are still students. Studies are important too. With your ability, you should have finished your studies by yourself, right? That's true, but I've been studying psychology recently. Lin Yuhsian explained, to complete a bachelor's degree, you have to follow the course rules. G University does not allow you to complete it in advance. So, I'm going to do a master's in psychology first. What a pervert. Chapter 1026. Murong AI is sitting on the sofa in the agent's office, looking at some brochures for houses. Miss Murong, this is your family's adult here. The agent's girl is quite pretty, but compared to Murong AI, she pales in comparison. Why are you looking for my family's adult? Murong AI furrowed her brows, slightly displeased. Are you looking down on me? Can't I rent a house because I'm young? No, I don't mean that. But the house you rent is quite big. Nonsense, we don't rent a house if it's not big, we run a dojo. Murong AI's attitude is not good at all. Do you want to sell the house or not? Sell, of course we will sell. Don't worry, we will arrange it for you. The beauty quickly takes out a few pictures of houses and shows them to Murong AI. You see, these houses are more in line with your requirements. The rooms are 3 stories, with a big yard. The rent is high and low. A good one costs 40,000 a month, and a bad one costs 27,000 a month. Not so good. Murong AI looks at a few. It doesn't match my brother-in-law's temperament at all. There are a few more here, please take a look. The agent does not dare to delay and quickly takes out a few better houses. Is your agent sick? If there are better houses, then quickly take them out. Murong AI impatiently said, can you take them out together? These are also trash. There is still the last one. The agent can feel Murong AI's imposing manner. She is probably a rich family's missy. Since that is the case, no matter how expensive the house is, she should be able to afford it. This one. The beautiful agent took out a set of houses from her collection and showed it to Murong AI. This house is quite good, the location is also very good, but because it is a historical site, it cannot be renovated, and the rent is expensive, so no one wants to rent it. Ha! This house is not bad. Murong AI takes a look at the picture and immediately likes it. This is the feeling. How much is the rent a month? 100,000. It's only 100,000, no problem. Murong made up her mind. This is it. This is more in line with brother-in-law's temperament. Then, when should we sign the contract? The agent hurriedly asked, for this property, you will need to pay at least 3 months' rent, and you will need to pay 1 month's rent as a deposit. It's okay, we can rent it for a year. Murong AI didn't even try to bargain and took out her card. This was the bank card that Lin Yuhsien had given her. Before she left, Lin Yuhsien had also repeatedly reminded her not to use Murong's family's money to rent the house. To Murong, 1,000,000 yuan was just a small amount of pocket money. However, she was afraid that her brother-in-law would be angry, so Murong could only obediently do as she was told. As long as her beloved brother-in-law was happy, Murong could do anything she wanted. Hurry up and sign the contract. I can't wait to let brother-in-law see it. The agent was also overjoyed. She had just made a big deal. Just her share of the money was already a lot. When Li Fan's martial arts school was still in preparation, his club was getting better and better. Because many of the club members had developed some qi gene, it attracted more and more people to learn. As the number of their members increased, the number of the other clubs gradually decreased. How can this be? The president of the Kendo Club, Huang Yu, and the president of the Karate Club, Yu Zhuang, were sitting together, discussing this matter. Huang Yu was a 4th-year female student. The reason why she never left school for her internship was because she couldn't let go of the club. Yu Zhuang was just a 3rd-year student, but his martial arts was not low. He added some of his own ideas to his karate, which was fast in training and strong in actual combat. Therefore, he was liked by many students. Among the 3 clubs, the Karate Club had always been the strongest. However, he didn't expect that one day, his Karate Club would be left with less than 10 members. The Kendo Club was even worse. They only had 7 members left. If this continued, they would even lose the big classroom. We must take back what we have lost with our own hands. Huang Yu was a radical. She held her wooden katana and said angrily. But Li Fan is now in school. He is like the sun in the sky. Even Kim Yunkwang was defeated by him. The 2 of us are no match for him. If we go there rashly, I'm afraid we will be humiliated. Yu Zhuang's mind became clearer. He couldn't help but sigh. Isn't Chinese kung fu all showy but impractical? Where did a Qigong master come from? If I hadn't seen the video of Li Fan fighting with Kim Yongkwang, I would have thought he was a liar. When I was practicing kung fu, my master told me that there were some real masters in China. Huang Yu couldn't help but recall, but after traveling in China for a year, he didn't find any other kendo masters. It was a pity. I thought my master only told me to keep a low profile. I didn't expect that I would really meet such a master, and he is the same age as us. He seems to be a little younger than us. Yu Zhuang's words made Huang Yu burst into tears. Now that he said it, it seemed very miserable. If that's the case, I can only ask my master to come. Huang Yu thought for a long time and finally made a decision. If the old man takes action, Li Fan will definitely be defeated. If he is defeated, what does it have to do with us? Yu Zhuang couldn't help but ask. Of course it has to do with us. This means that Li Fan's kung fu is only a so-so. Our kung fu is the right way. That's still you. My kung fu still hasn't been put to use, Yu Zhuang continued to ask. Now that things have come to this, it doesn't matter if it's you or me. No matter what, kendo and karate are both Japan's martial arts. We can only survive if we combine them. That's right, Yu Zhuang sighed. The once glorious karate club had never expected to rely on the kendo club to survive. No matter what, defeating Li Fan is the most important thing. I'll ask my master to come over and let him teach Li Fan a lesson for us. But why do I feel that something is wrong? Yu Zhuang still felt that something was wrong. At that time, you will definitely be the vice president. Don't worry. Huang Yu patted Yu Zhuang's shoulder. I'm already a senior. Don't tell me you want to kick me down to vice president. It's not that. I feel that if we find someone to suppress China's martial arts. Is this good? Fuck, at this time, you're talking to me about national righteousness. Huang Yu glared at Yu Zhuang. If you don't want to, then withdraw. I won't force you. Don't. I'm definitely on your side. Martial arts and whatnot, just let it disappear along with the history books. Chapter 1027. Challenge. Li Fan was teaching the breathing technique to some new students. Hearing Jiang Yuan talking to him, he immediately raised his head. Are you talking about the modern combat club? Where did such a club come from? It's the kendo club and karate club that merged. Jiang Fangfang added. She always had a good grasp of information. Interesting. Li Fan couldn't help but be a little moved. These two clubs actually joined forces. They're both big clubs. Why did they decide to join forces? Aren't they fighting every day? My dear President, you're so devoted to the club that you don't pay attention to the outside world. Jiang Yuan couldn't help but laugh. What era are we in? Those two clubs are almost empty. Is that so? Li Fan sighed. Without the feeling of competition, it was a little boring. However, these two clubs were quite courageous. They actually issued a challenge to him. They weren't a bunch of cowards. How is the challenge? What's the format? Li Fan asked. It's a challenge tournament. Jiang Fangfang said, tomorrow, there will be an arena in the stadium. The winner will keep the club and the loser will have to disband their club. They're playing quite big. Li Fan nodded. President, do we accept the challenge? Is there a need to ask? Li Fan smiled. You guys go tomorrow. Maybe I won't even have the chance to fight. Okay, President, just watch the show. Can I go and try? Lu Wanner practiced for a while and made some progress. She was eager to try and couldn't help but ask Li Fan. Sure. Li Fan nodded. You've made a lot of progress recently, but don't be too proud. I'm actually criticized by a junior. Lu Wanner laughed. Li Fan blushed a little. In terms of martial arts, I should be considered senior sister's senior. That's right, senior. Lu Wanner also had a mischievous side. She had just mastered martial arts and was full of confidence. She always wanted to try it out. How's your Qigong practice? Li Fan asked. The president is going to check it himself? As Lu Wanner spoke, she suddenly ran a few steps forward. She was wearing white sportswear and black yoga leggings. Her perky buttocks and long legs were enough to capture one's attention. Lu Wanner's steps were light and graceful. She ran forward for about 2 meters before her feet suddenly kicked a few times and leaped onto the wall in front of her. Because he was wearing clean sports shoes, there were no footprints on the wall. Lu Wanner leapt up to a height of more than 3 meters, flipped on the spot, and landed steadily. How is it? As beautiful as a swallow. Li Fan couldn't help but praise. For a newcomer to have such a standard, it's already very impressive. That's good. I feel like you've protected your dignity. Lu Wanner heaved a sigh of relief. However, Li Tai is the one who has improved the most. Li Fan looked at Li Tai, who was practicing rushing thunder feet, and couldn't help but sigh. TSK. How can he improve as fast as me? Jiang Yuan was unconvinced. I'm the one who improved the fastest in the club. Humph. Little girl, you're quite unconvinced. Your foundation is already high, how can Li Tai compare to you? That's true. Jiang Yuan nodded in satisfaction. The little girl was very happy to be praised. Brother-in-law, the matter of the house has been settled. When will you come over to take a look? Li Fan received a message from Murong Ai. The little girl was quite diligent in handling this matter. In addition, Murong Ai also sent a photo. It was a beautiful courtyard house with a 5-story tower. The courtyard was lush and full of orange trees. In this season, the orange trees were lush with green leaves, making the courtyard look full of vitality. And in the middle of the courtyard was a small pond. There were some stone sculptures placed in the pond. It seemed to be the popular garden art of Suzhou and Hangzhou. This kind of ancient-style courtyard should be very old. A historical relic. This is the most suitable place to open a dojo. Good choice. When I'm done with the school, I'll go over and take a look. Li Fan also praised Murong Ai. The little girl immediately sent a happy smiling face and a beautiful selfie. This girl really likes to show off. But after not seeing her for so long, the little girl's chest seems to have developed a little, although it can't be compared to her sister, it can be considered a small scale. When Li Fan looked at the photo, he casually clicked and accidentally set the photo as his phone's wallpaper. When Li Fan was about to change it back, he suddenly realized that the little beauty on the phone was quite pleasing to the eye. Li Fan thought for a moment and decided to keep it. Occasionally when he was tired, he could look at it to relax his mood. It was quite good. Ha! Why did you set sister-in-law as your phone's wallpaper? Jiang Yuan suddenly snatched Li Fan's phone and looked at it. She winked at Li Fan. Mr. President, you're so evil. What nonsense are you imagining? It's not what you think. Li Fan quickly waved his hand, indicating that this girl was thinking too much. What am I thinking? President, can you explain? Don't mess around, or I'll be angry. Li Fan's eyes widened, indicating that he was about to be angry. Brother-in-law can't be teased at all. Jiang Yuanyuan pretended to say and even imitated Murong AI's tone. But I like this kind of brother-in-law the most. Don't mess around, I'm taking a photo of you. Don't worry, it's just a photo. I'll give you one. Jiang Yuanyuan said, took out her phone, fiddled with it, and then fiddled with Li Fan's phone. Okay, here you go. Take it. Li Fan took the phone, looked at it, and almost had a nosebleed. On the phone was a beautiful little girl, wearing a maid costume, with long blonde hair. But her lower body was naked, revealing her sexy buttocks. She was lying in the bosom of a devil statue, looking back at the camera with a smile. Because she was wearing a wig, it was hard for Li Fan to distinguish whether this was an older sister or younger sister. This is too bold. Li Fan could not help but ask. Idiot, this is called welfare. Jiang Yuanyuan rolled her eyes at Li Fan. In order to restore it perfectly, I took it for myself to appreciate. This kind of photo will never be shown to outsiders. Then. President, let's play a game, shall we? Jiang Yuanyuan used her hand to gently block Li Fan's phone screen, and then said, why don't you guess whether this is me or my sister? If you guess correctly, I'll give you this set of pictures, how about it? A total of 16 pictures, every picture will make your blood boil. Li Fan's blood is already boiling. This damn girl, she actually dared to challenge me. She's finished. Chapter 10:28. Is second brother okay? During class, Wang Yang could not help but ask Xiao Yingjun next to him, why is he staring at his phone every day today? It's like he's lost his soul. He wasn't like this before. I don't know either. Xiao Yingjun shook his head. He said that Jiang Yuanyuan gave him a difficult problem and he's trying to decipher it. Second brother, I know a little about the 8 trigrams of Zhou Yi, so I'm good at deciphering it. Why don't I help you? Out of concern, Wang Yang asked Li Fan in a low voice. No need, no need. Li Fan quickly waved his hand and subconsciously put his phone away. If this wallpaper was seen by others, what would happen? Alright, then you can study it yourself. You're so stingy. I thought you had a treasure map on your phone. There was no treasure map, but there was one in the Pink Devil's den. Although the two sisters had different personalities and hairstyles, it was impossible to tell them apart just by looking at their expressions in the photo. It was hard to tell them apart just by looking at their butts. He could not possibly find these two girls and take off their clothes one by one to see who had the perky butts in the photo, right? Wouldn't that be acting like a hooligan? Li Fan felt that it was better not to do that, although his current behavior was not much different from acting like a hooligan. Li Fan took out his phone again and looked at the wallpaper on it, deep in thought. Who was it? Should he guess it? There was a 50% chance. As long as he guessed correctly, there were 16 sets of pictures. Li Fan was a little tempted. Today is the last day. Li Fan received a text from Jiang Yuanyuan, if you can't guess it, it'll be invalid after the deadline. Motherfucker. This damned girl, Li Fan smiled bitterly. She was definitely messing with him on purpose. It must be your sister. Li Fan did not know why, but he suddenly had an idea and sent a message to Jiang Yuanyuan on WeChat. Jiang Yuanyuan typed a series of ellipses and then said, you wasted your only chance. Say goodbye to this set of pictures. Li Fan was disappointed. He didn't expect that he had guessed wrong. But soon, Jiang Yuanyuan sent him a consolation prize. The maid was still naked. She was squatting there, holding a katana in her hand. Her expression was extremely seductive, and no one knew what kind of character she was cosplaying. I'm just trying to comfort you. Try harder next time. Should I guess who this is? Don't. I'm not going to play with you anymore. See you in PE class later, President Pervert. After Jiang Yuanyuan finished speaking, she really ignored Li Fan. Li Fan saved the photo and continued with Maja's class. Marx's philosophy was a compulsory course for every university student. It was also a compulsory course. Anyway, the beginning of the semester was an open book exam, so Li Fan wasn't worried about failing at all. Li Fan, after class, don't leave. Just as the class was about to end, Mr. Maja suddenly said something to Li Fan. Li Fan was baffled. I didn't provoke this old granny Maja, so why did she suddenly ask me to stay? I still have to go to the gym later. Today is the day I'm going to fight with the Modern Combat Club. Yuan, the teacher is looking for me. Help me deal with the gym first. Li Fan had no choice but to send Jiang Yuanyuan a text. Jiang Yuanyuan quickly replied with an okay, followed by a cute smiley face emoticon. Are we waiting for you? Wang Yang asked when the bell rang. No need, you guys go back first. Li Fan waved his hand. If you want to watch the fun, go to the gym and reserve a seat. Of course, I'm going. Zhao Yingjun beamed. There are so many beauties in your martial arts club, how can I not go watch? Second brother, didn't you save us a VIP seat or something? Save my ass. I'm not the one who opened the gym. Hurry up and help me take my books. Li Fan put his textbooks in Xiang Yi's bag and stayed in the classroom, waiting for Mrs. Maja to talk to him. But after the old granny tidied up her lesson plans, she stood up and walked out of the classroom. Li Fan was a little surprised and quickly called out to Mrs. Maja. Teacher, didn't you want to talk to me? What the hell? The old granny turned her head and looked at Li Fan strangely. When did I want to talk to you? Just now, you told me to stay in the classroom after class. When did that happen? You must have slept too much. Next time, sleep less in class and learn more knowledge. The old granny shook her head as she walked out. Sigh, young people these days. What's going on? Li Fan was a little speechless. What the hell did this old granny do? Did she become muddle-headed with age? Besides, he didn't sleep in class either. He was solving puzzles. As Li Fan was about to leave, the classroom door was suddenly locked, as if someone had locked him in the classroom. And the windows in the classroom were also closing one after another. Who are you? Trying to act mysterious. If you have the guts, come out. Li Fan berated. And on a portrait hanging on the wall, a man wearing a flowery shirt and yellow pants suddenly walked down and appeared in front of Li Fan. What the hell? Li Fan was a little shocked. Such a fantasy thing. It can't possibly happen, right? Hello, Li Fan. The man in front of him sat in front of Li Fan and greeted Li Fan. The person who wants to talk to you is me. How did you come out from inside? Li Fan pointed at the portrait on the wall and then pointed at the man in yellow pants in front of him. Nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Wang Luo. Which organization sent you to kill me? As Li Fan spoke, he raised his true qi. The tables and chairs around him were pushed away by his true qi. Don't be agitated. I am not here to find trouble with you. On the contrary, I am your friend. I am here to help you. As Wang Luo spoke, he placed both of his feet on the table and leaned on the chair. He looked very casual, as if he was on vacation in Hawaii. Help me? What do you mean? Li Fan frowned. Before chatting with you, let me block a guy first. As Wang Luo spoke, he reached out his hand towards Li Fan and waved it outside the door. Mr. Yang's figure was pulled out of Li Fan's body, then he was thrown out of the door and locked outside. Li Fan could even hear Mr. Yang's unwilling roar. What is this situation? Cold sweat dripped down from Li Fan's forehead. Mr. Yang, didn't he merge with me? This person's spiritual power is too strong. He has been attached to your body for a long time. With my ability, I can only block him temporarily. Wang Luo shrugged his shoulders and took out his feet from the slippers. His 2 feet were rubbing against each other. This time, I will help you for free. Next time, I will have to charge. Chapter 1029. He and I should have already become one. Li Fan was a little confused. Ha, brother, you have only become one with your heart demon, but he is not your heart demon. Wang Luo laughed weirdly, but he has also become a part of you. You will probably be pestered by him forever in the future. He. Who are you? Li Fan clenched his fist and emitted his true qi. Wang Luo casually said, I can be anyone. I can be anyone. If you want, I can be your father. Li Fan kicked a table. This table instantly flew towards Wang Luo, but he used his leg to press it down. Little friend, your temper is too big. Do you want to buy a cucumber to calm down? You are only in your 30s, why are you acting like a chicken feather in front of me? Li Fan coldly laughed, if you continue to act like a fool, I don't mind beating you up. Ha ha ha, little fellow, your temper is really bad. Wang Luo laughed, I am a stubborn person. I like to be beaten up a few times before I feel better. Damn, this is the first time I have heard such a request. As Li Fan said that, he suddenly lifted his leg. With a downward kick, his leg was like a battle axe swinging down, chopping towards Wang Luo's head. But Wang Luo tilted his head slightly, allowing Li Fan's leg to land on his shoulder. Li Fan felt like he had kicked an iron plate. His calf was numb from the shock. Wang Luo smiled, you don't have enough strength. Is that so? Li Fan retracted his leg and took a step forward. At the same time, he pressed his palm onto Wang Luo's lower abdomen. Bear King Seal. Bang! Wang Luo's body flew out like a cannonball, smashing onto the wall above his head. His entire body was embedded in it, causing dust and gravel to fall down. Achoo! Wang Luo let out a loud sneeze. There is too much dust in your classroom. Hurry up and find someone to clean it up. Li Fan stood there with a frown on his face. It wasn't that he liked to frown, it was just that this Wang Luo was a little shocking. Although he did not use his full strength, the power of this palm was definitely enough to turn an ordinary person into meat paste. Wang Luo, on the other hand, was completely fine, except that his clothes were dirty. This pair of shorts is a souvenir that I brought back from Hawaii. It's all dirty. Forget it, it's 20 yuan a piece anyway. I'll just buy 2 more later. As Wang Luo spoke, she slowly pulled her body out from the wall and stretched her muscles. I haven't exercised for a long time. My body is getting old. Today was a good day to get some exercise. Li Fan, you're not doing your best. Did you not eat today? Before he could finish speaking, Li Fan suddenly appeared above his head. He then clasped his hand on his head and smashed his head into the ground. Wang Luo's entire head was embedded in it, but Li Fan wasn't done yet. He punched Wang Luo's neck, making his head more solid. After 3 consecutive punches from Li Fan, half of Wang Luo's body was about to be smashed into the ground. But Wang Luo stretched out his hands and pulled his upper body out, at the same time spitting out a mouthful of dirt. Pooey. It's fine if you didn't treat me to a meal, but you actually treated me to dirt. You're too stingy. Who exactly are you? Li Fan lifted Wang Luo up with one hand. This Wang Luo seemed to be weightless as Li Fan swung him around. Me, I'm a demon. Bullshit. Where did this demon come from? The world is big, there are all sorts of strange things. How do you know that I'm not a demon? Wang Luo laughed weirdly. Don't you have a demon island in your mind? You're peeking into my mind. Li Fan's hand that was on Wang Luo's neck slowly tightened. Cough cough, why are you so agitated? Wang Luo coughed as he said, I'm different from others. My spiritual power is tens of times that of ordinary people. Thus, I can sense other people's thoughts. That's not what I want. Talent is probably the power that Satan gave me. You're a mutant. Li Fan threw Wang Luo out. Wang Luo pinched his neck and said, I'm not a mutant. Mutants are a group of people who were infected by the power of the demon island, causing their genes to mutate. Their genes are different from ordinary people. Thus, they are used by the governments of various countries for experiments. For example, America. They have always had a human modification plan. They want to continuously modify humans and turn them into existences close to God. A bunch of lunatics. Li Fan sneered. The power of mutants is like a nuclear bomb. Having it in your hands might not be a good thing. Ha, on this point, we aren't any better. Wang Luo laughed. He sat on the chair by the side and looked at Li Fan. China also has a holy war plan. New humans are about to be born, and you martial artists will become the target of elimination. What do you mean? Holy war plan. Li Fan was attracted by these 4 words. This Wang Luo's strength is not bad. It shouldn't be a baseless rumor. Do you want to know? Come back here tonight and look for me. Wang Luo didn't say it immediately. Don't you still have things to do now? I don't dare to disturb you, in case you beat me up again. Don't you like to be beaten up? But I don't like to be beaten up. Wang Luo rubbed his head. Forget it, I underestimated your strength. Anyways, I have said before that I am here to help you. If you believe me, I will meet you here at 8 p.m. If you don't believe me, then let's not meet again in the future. Why is it 8 p.m.? Before Li Fan could finish his words, his body suddenly shivered. Wang Luo, who was in front of him, disappeared. The classroom that was originally in a mess, unknowingly returned to its previous state. The surrounding windows were also opened, allowing the weeping willow outside to come in. Everything was the same as usual. It was as if Wang Luo had never appeared. Damn it, Li Fan felt a chill. He looked at his phone and slapped his thigh again. Fuck. It's too late. Li Fan ran towards the gymnasium. At this moment, Mount Wudong. The disciple in charge of receiving guests saw a youngster with a sword hanging on his back. He was calmly stepping on the stone steps and slowly walking up the mountain. The stone steps were quite steep. Without a bit of cultivation, it was impossible to climb up to the main hall of Mount Wudong. The disciple looked at the youngster carefully and found him somewhat familiar. Head Escortly, why are you here? What brings you to my Mount Wudong? The youngster didn't answer his question. Instead, he aimed his palm at the disciple's face and slapped him. The gymnasium. Yu Zhuang's body flew out heavily and laid on the ground. Lu Wan-er stood on the stage and looked at her palm in shock. Chapter 10:30. Yu Zhuang stood up again, but his face was red. He had practiced martial arts for so long, but today he was defeated by a young girl who had just started practicing. This was too embarrassing. This was too shameful. How did this happen? Even Huang Yu was a little surprised. She knew that Yu Zhuang's martial arts were on par with hers. A famous person in Ji University was defeated by Lu Wan-er at this moment. Lu Wan had never practiced martial arts before. She had only practiced yoga. But she actually defeated a black belt expert. That was impossible, right? Only Li Fan stood there with a slight smile on his face. Lu Wan stood in the ring, panting slightly. She thought that it was a close call. She had defeated 4 opponents in a row. The first 3 were ordinary black belts. These black belts were very powerful. Although Lu Wan had learned martial arts for a few days, it was not enough to defeat them. But for some reason, Li Fan's voice kept ringing in Lu Wan's ears. He was giving her pointers on how to deal with her opponents. Lu Wan relied on his instructions to defeat Yu Zhuang in the end. Could it be that others could not hear Li Fan's voice? Could it be the telepathy that was mentioned in novels? Lu Wan was a little surprised. Huang Yu also could not sit still. She carried her katana and walked into the ring. Lu Wan, I really did not expect your martial arts to be so powerful. Huang Yu also knew Lu Wan, She was the head of the student council's publicity department. She even had her own personal guards. She was a famous person in the school. Who would not know her? She was just a weak girl in the past. Did she really become so powerful because she learned martial arts from Li Fan? Don't be afraid, senior. I'm here. Li Fan could see that Lu Wan was a little afraid. After all, before Li Fan came, Huang Yu had always been known as the strongest woman in Ji University. Lu Wan tried her best to calm down, waiting for Li Fan's command. Huang Yu gripped the wooden saber in her hand and looked at Lu Wan in front of her. No matter what, I'm still your senior sister. Should I let you have 2 moves first? Huang Yu's reputation and popularity were obvious. She was not bad looking either. Although she could not compare to Lu Wan, she was still somewhat pretty. In addition, her breasts were not small, her figure was slim, and she was full of heroic spirit. She was also quite popular in the school. Many of the boys in the school were her fans. On the stands behind her, there were also quite a number of fans, holding banners and cheering for Huang Yu. However, it was clear that Lu Wan had more fans. The front row of the grandstand was filled with her personal guards. They were holding banners and wearing uniforms as they cheered for Lu Wan. Zhao Yingjun was among them, claiming to be Lu Wan's fanatical fan. That won't be necessary, senior sister. Lu Wan was also quite proud. She would not allow others to look down on her. With Li Fan's help and the results of his hard work over the past few days, he could definitely defeat Huang Yu. Jiang Yuanyuan sat below, supporting her chin with her hand and pouting. She seemed a little dissatisfied. Damn it, it would be good if senior sister lost this round. Do you want to go on stage and fight? Yes, I really want to be in the limelight. Jiang Yuanyuan said to her sister. Did you forget what father said before we left? Who cares about him? He won't let us go to university. Jiang Yuanyuan curled her lips. That old feudal man is bent on marrying us off. So what if we are men? Why can Big Brother inherit the family business and we can't? Alright, stop talking. Yes, I won't say it, but I want to put on a show. When Jiang Yuanyuan thought of Murongning and Luo Shuawu, there was a somewhat different look in her eyes. I also want to become a strong woman like the chief of the martial arts circle. Then work harder. Jiang Fangfang knew that her sister would persist to the end once she had made up her mind, so she did not try to persuade her. However, it was a little difficult to become a strong woman like Murongning. What surprised her even more was Lu Wan. This senior sister who did not know any martial arts before had actually defeated 4 people in a row today, including Yu Zhuang. She wondered how she would perform against Huang Yu. Since it's like this, then I won't be polite. Huang Yu raised the wooden blade in her hand and aimed it at Lu Wanner. She suddenly shouted and the wooden blade instantly appeared in front of Lu Wanner, directly stabbing towards Lu Wanner's throat. This was the blade technique of the island country, going straight for the vital point without the slightest bit of hesitation. Squat down. However, just before Huang Yu was about to attack, Li Fan had already seen through her move and made Lu Wanner squat on the ground. Lu Wanner squatted down, just in time to avoid Huang Yu's throat. White Crane gnawed, hit the bend of her leg. Lu Wanner obediently did as she was told and prepared to stab the bend of Huang Yu's leg. Huang Yu lost her balance and fell down. Immortal Crane flapping wings. Lu Wanner spread her hands up, just in time to block Huang Yu's wooden blade. White Crane gnawed, hit the neck. Lu Wanner's fingers formed a bird's beak and hit Huang Yu's neck. Huang Yu's body completely fell down and fell to the ground. Lu Wanner readjusted her state, 1 foot in front and 1 foot behind. She spread her hands and looked at Huang Yu, her whole body ready to attack. Crane strike. This was the fist technique that Li Fan taught her according to Lu Wanner's conditions. With such flexible body control, it would be a pity not to learn crane strike. As for Lu Wanner's attack, it carried a bit of chi. Although Huang Yu had trained her body, being hit a few times was still a bit painful. Her neck was still in pain, and a numb feeling filled her whole body. Huang Yu, come down. At this time, a young man's voice came from below the stage. Li Fan turned his head and saw a man wearing a kimono sitting on Huang Yu's team. This man was about 30 years old, and his aura was somewhat different. Li Fan had guessed before that this person might be here to help, and now it seemed that his guess was right. Master. Huang Yu dejectedly jumped down from the stage and bowed to her master. I'm too useless, your performance is already not bad. The opponent smiled at Huang Yu, then picked up Huang Yu's wooden blade, stepped on the wooden clogs, and slowly walked to the stage. I've always heard that your country has many experts, but I, Toyota Kojiro, have no chance to meet you. Today, I hope you can teach me a thing or two. Toyota. What the hell? Zhao Ingjun curled his lips. I'm also called Volkswagen. Looks like it's quite powerful. Wang Yang could not help but mutter. What's so powerful about the Japanese? Coming here is just to get beaten up. Zhao Ingjun waved his fist. This is a competition between our clubs. It's not good to find an outsider, right? Lin Yuhsin was the secretary of the student union, and she was in charge of this event on behalf of the student union. Seeing that the other party actually sent a Japanese over, she immediately questioned. Chapter 1031. I forgot to introduce everyone. Huang Yu hurriedly explained, this is my master. He came to China this time to understand China's martial arts culture. Huang Yu looked at Li Fan. As the president of the Martial Arts Society, you won't reject my master's good intentions, right? Of course not. Li Fan smiled. Tolerance is great. I still hope to communicate with the international experts. But when it comes to sparring, don't overdo it. Of course, I will be lenient. Toyota Kojiro said very seriously. This Japanese is so arrogant. Who is he? So arrogant. Lu Wanwan's personal guards immediately cursed. My master is Toyota Kojiro, the successor of Japan's water-shattering sword. When he was only 16 years old, he already took first place in Japan's swordsmanship competition. Even the elder of Japan's Takeda family, Takeda, praised my master, saying that he is the leader of Japan's younger generation. Is that so? Li Fan glanced at Lu Wanwan. Lu Wanwan hurriedly said. I want to give it a try. All right. Li Fan nodded. He knew that Lu Wanwan was also a girl who did not like to lose. Wanwan, do your best. At this moment, a girl's shout came from the stands. The crowd did not care, but Li Fan and Lu Wanwan looked at the same time. Shin-Chen, this girl had snuck back without them knowing. She was wearing sunglasses and a mask, sitting in a corner and waving at Lu Wanwan. Why is this girl here? Li Fan just thought of this when his phone suddenly received a WeChat message from Shin-Chen. I haven't seen you for a while. You've taught my Wanwan well. It's senior sister who learns fast. Li Fan was very humble. TSK. I came back this time because I have something to tell you. Come find me later. This superstar, why is she looking for me? Li Fan did not understand, but there seemed to be some ill-fated relationship between him and Shin-Chen. But he could not agree so easily. Is this the attitude of begging? When did this lady beg you? It's your honor. Of course not. You can play by yourself. I have other things to do later. See you again if fate wills it. Hey! Stop messing around. I really have something to talk to you about. Goodbye, I wish you happiness. You, Shin-Chen raised her head and looked at Li Fan angrily. You wait for this, miss. Don't wait. You bastard. Can't you be more gentlemanly? I can't. The competition is over. Bye. Li Fan sent 3 exclamation marks and then put away his phone while Shin-Chen was going crazy. At this moment, Toyota Kojiro was already standing in the arena. He raised his wooden katana with one hand and faced Lu Wan in front of him. Miss, you defeated my disciple. I respect you very much. But you seem to have just started learning martial arts, so I'll let you use one hand first. No need. Lu Wanner was a little unhappy. Why were these people looking down on her? Maybe I made you unhappy, but I'll let you go. Toyota Kojiro was very serious. The difference in strength between us is too big. Is that so? Lu Wanner quickly adjusted her emotions. After all, her mentality was better than normal people. Lu Wanner positioned herself and stood there, calmly looking at Toyota Kojiro in front of her. Then, please enlighten me. Be careful of your shoulder. When Toyota Kojiro said this, he had already rushed in front of Lu Wanner. At the same time, he held the wooden katana in his right hand and tore through the air, slashing horizontally towards Lu Wanner's shoulder. Step forward, crane hand, push his wrist. Li Fan had already seen through Toyota Kojiro's move and told Lu Wanner in advance. But before Lu Wanner could react, her shoulder had already been slashed. She frowned in pain, and Toyota Kojiro swept his feet and directly tripped Lu Wanner. If she had not practiced Qigong for a few days, this fall would definitely not be light. Toyota Kojiro had no intention of stopping. The wooden katana in his hand stabbed towards Lu Wanner, who was on the ground. Enough! Li Fan suddenly shouted. This shout caused Toyota Kojiro's entire body to go numb. He could not help but stop what he was doing. He looked at Li Fan standing on the side in surprise, his eyes full of surprise. True energy. This was true energy. That was great. Had he finally met a true expert? Huang Yu had done well. He had gained a lot this time. Toyota Kojiro laughed heartily and looked at Li Fan. Are you an expert from China? Would you like to have a battle with me? You want to fight with me? Li Fan laughed. Then let's fight with my disciple first. Your disciple? Toyota Kojiro looked at Lu Wanner. Didn't I defeat her? No, she's a true disciple. Li Fan clapped his hands. A short-haired youth walked out from the crowd and at the same time, moved his shoulders. Master, I just got off the plane and you're already asking me to fight. Because he was going to open a dojo here, Li Fan transferred Lu Xiaohu over from Li Family Island. The smart chip that Lu Xiaohu wore was the latest technology from Li Family Island. It could shield Lu Xiaohu's superpower and avoid being detected by China's Esper ability detection system. The twins could not help but look at the youth. This youth did not seem old. Li Fan's disciple. They wondered how much of Li Fan's kung fu he had learned. Although Li Fan was willing to teach kung fu to outsiders, the twins knew that Li Fan would only teach the true Seven Heroes Fist to his own disciples. They, Lu Wanner, Li Tai, and the other club members had only learned a simplified version of the Seven Heroes Fist. This is your Excellency's disciple? Toyota Kojiro frowned as he looked at the youth who was about 1.6 meters tall. Sorry, I can still grow another 20 centimeters. Lu Xiaohu was wearing the same sportswear as Li Fan, but it was black. He stood on his tiptoes. As the saying goes, 23 years old, jump up. Chapter 1032. Your Excellency's disciple should have some ability. Toyota Kojiro adjusted his emotions, gripped the wooden katana tightly, and pointed it at Lu Xiaohu. Then I'll defeat your Excellency's disciple first, then meet the legendary little tyrant. Fuck you, you're the little bastard. Lu Xiaohu was immediately enraged. This idiot actually dared to insult his master. Fuck your grandpa. His figure suddenly flashed and instantly appeared in front of Toyota Kojiro. A tiger claw was aimed at Toyota Kojiro's forehead. However, Toyota Kojiro was also an expert. Without hesitation, he immediately raised the wooden katana in his hand and swept it towards Lu Xiaohu's face. Smack! Lu Xiaohu stretched out 3 fingers and pinched the body of the wooden katana. When it came to finger skills, even Li Fan had to admire his disciple. Lu Xiaohu did not neglect training on the island. His internal energy had definitely been trained to the level of 5 fingers. Nanny. The katana felt like it was clamped by an iron clamp. Toyota Kojiro was a little surprised. Black Tiger steals heart. However, Lu Xiaohu's next palm strike landed on Toyota Kojiro's chest. If Toyota Kojiro did not let go of the wooden katana and took 2 steps back, this strike would have pierced into his chest and crushed his heart. Not bad. Toyota Kojiro praised, it's my fault. I underestimated you. He stretched out his hand, and his disciple, Huang Yu, who was below the stage, threw another katana up. He grabbed it with both hands. From now on, I see you as a real opponent. Lu Xiaohu. Damn, young master's name is Lu Xiaohu. Lu Xiaohu was furious. He lowered his body and then leaped forward. Lu Xiaohu's tiger claws continuously attacked Toyota Kojiro. However, Toyota Kojiro was not an ordinary person. He held the wooden katana with both hands and waved it continuously, using it to block Lu Xiaohu's attacks. The rhythm is too messy. Li Fan stood below the stage, crossed his arms, and scolded, adjust the rhythm for me. I will work hard, master. Lu Xiaohu shuddered in fear and quickly took a step back. Then, he stretched out his hands, clenched them into tiger claws, and readjusted his rhythm. Hungry tiger out of the cage. Lu Xiaohu roared. In that second, Toyota Kojiro felt as if time had stopped for a second. But Lu Xiaohu had already appeared in front of him, and a pair of tiger claws launched a quick attack at him. It was as fast as a storm, and it instantly hit Toyota Kojiro's body. Toyota Kojiro's sword couldn't keep up with Lu Xiaohu's rhythm at all. He was knocked back in a few moves, and many wounds appeared on his body as blood flowed down. Tiger Cannon. At the moment when Toyota Kojiro was hit, Lu Xiaohu suddenly stopped in his tracks, then stretched out his right hand and aimed at Toyota Kojiro, while his left hand held his right wrist, as if helping him aim. Charge! He condensed a ball of vital energy in his palm and turned it into a cannonball, suddenly hitting Toyota Kojiro's body. Bang! Toyota Kojiro's body was sent flying and instantly fell outside the ring, smashing a table. Lu Xiaohu put down his still-smoking palm and looked at Toyota Kojiro, who was lying unconscious under the ring. This is too weak. You've become stronger. It was unknown when Li Fan came to the ring. He patted Lu Xiaohu's head. Looks like you haven't neglected your training recently. Not bad. Thank you, Master, for your compliment. Lu Xiaohu was happy. To be praised by his master, he was very satisfied. This tiger cannon is also very interesting. It's worth studying. Lu Xiaohu liked to infer other things from one instance, and he was very creative. This was exactly what his other disciple, Jiang Yi, was lacking. This move isn't stable yet. I need to study it more. Try it. Don't release such a strong force at once. Just release 70% of your strength. Li Fan reminded, leave 30% as a variable. Thank you, Master, for your reminder. Lu Xiaohu thought of something. I heard that I have 2 junior sisters. When can I meet them? Soon. She'll be here too. When they arrived at City G, Jiang Yi didn't need to be too restrained. After all, Jiang Feng wasn't here. And Li Fan's disciple defeated Huang Yu's master. Huang Yu had completely lost hope. Their modern combat club was probably going to lose to the martial arts club. Your disciple is really amazing. Jiang Yuanyuan and Jiang Fangfang walked over together. The twins checked Lu Xiaohu's body in various ways, making Lu Xiaohu blush. What are you guys doing? Although Lu Xiaohu was lecherous, he was at a loss when he was suddenly attacked by 2 identical beauties. Li Fan actually has a disciple. How interesting. Jiang Yuanyuan was excited. How old were you when you learned martial arts from Li Fan? Quick, let me take a look. Lu Xiaohu thought to himself, if I didn't bring a signal blocker and can't use my superpower, I'll definitely show you guys how powerful I am. Alright, this is indeed my disciple. You guys don't have to tease him anymore. Li Fan pulled Lu Xiaohu behind him to prevent him from being attacked by the twins. He's here to help me with the martial arts club. This isn't the place to talk. Let's talk somewhere else. Jiang Fangfang reminded them as she looked at the noisy crowd around them. Meanwhile, Lin Yuhsian was already in charge of clearing the venue. There would be other matches in the stadium later. When they entered the club's lounge, Jiang Yuanyuan suddenly grabbed Li Fan's sleeve. Li Fan, let me formally worship you as my master. Don't mess around. Li Fan slapped the girl's hand away. You're from the 8 trigram school. It's not proper to worship me as your master. But I want to learn martial arts from you. Jiang Yuanyuan grabbed Li Fan's hand again and kept shaking his arm. I'm begging you. Master, you should just accept such a beautiful junior sister. You already have so many disciples anyway. One more won't make much of a difference. Lu Xiaohu was trying to take advantage of them. Go away. Li Fan glared at him. How can accepting a disciple be done so casually? Besides, Jiang Yuanyuan, haven't I already taught you martial arts? I want to learn something more profound. Greedy and insatiable. Li Fan scratched her nose. If you mess around again, I'll spank your butt. Damn it, I'm not a child. Li Fan, the martial arts you teach is really good. Lu Wan had also returned from handling the matters in the stadium. Once she entered the lounge, she excitedly looked at Li Fan. I originally planned to go out for an internship this year, but now it seems that it's more interesting to stay here and learn martial arts for a year. Sure. Li Fan nodded. Senior sister, learn for another year. In the future, when you enter society, you'll be able to protect yourself. Otherwise, a beautiful girl like you will definitely be bullied when you enter society. When Lu Wan heard this, she was slightly shocked. Junior brother is really special. What do you mean? Just as Li Fan was about to ask, the door of the lounge was suddenly kicked open. Shin Chen stood at the door angrily. Chapter 1033. Without waiting for Li Fan to understand, Shin Chen kicked open the lounge door and stormed in. Li Fan. Why didn't you come? This old lady has been waiting for you for 10 minutes. You're sick. Li Fan frowned. When did I say I would go? Besides, you blew up in 10 minutes. There's something wrong with your mentality. Bastard. Shin Chen was indeed about to explode. She suddenly stepped forward and raised her hand, wanting to slap Li Fan. But Jiang Yuan, who was standing at the side, suddenly made her move, grabbed Shin Chen, and pressed her down on the table. Is this a big star? She's too uncultured. Jiang Yuan curled her lips, to think that I like your songs. Woo woo. Shin Chen couldn't even make a sound, only feeling a sharp pain. Jiang Fangfang held her sister back. You can't attack ordinary people. Yuan. Quickly let go of her. Lu Wan hurriedly shouted, while Li Fan also pulled Jiang Yuan's hand away. Forget it, let her go. Bastard. You're all bullying me. After Shin Chen was released, she took a few steps back and cried at Li Fan. Li Fan, you're a big bastard. A complete and utter bastard. To think that I was still thinking about you. With that, Shin Chen rushed out of the room and casually threw a box. Li Fan picked up the box and found a very high-end sportswear inside, which seemed to be a gift for him. You guys. Lu Wan was a little angry. Shin Chen forget it. Lu Wan originally wanted to chase after Shin Chen, but on second thought, she stretched out her hand and poked Li Fan. Why aren't you going after her? All right. Li Fan did not have the bad taste of making a girl cry. He turned around and chased out of the lounge. The heavens seemed to have gone crazy, and it was raining outside. Autumn rain is different from spring rain and summer rain. The spring rain was warm, as if it symbolized the revival of all living things. On the other hand, the summer rain was very violent. It would pour cats and dogs at any moment. Occasionally, it would be accompanied by bursts of thunder, making people feel carefree. However, the autumn rain was still rustling, bringing with it a trace of coldness. Although Shin Chen was angry, she should not have run far. Li Fan strengthened his hearing and filled his ears with true energy. In the drizzle, Li Fan heard the sound of sobbing. There seemed to be some loneliness and grievance in her cries. Was it Shin Chen? Li Fan followed the weak voice and walked over. A girl was sitting on the steps to the side, her head buried in her arms. Her body trembled as she cried. Do superstars also hide and cry? Li Fan squatted beside Shin Chen and asked softly. Shin Chen was like a frightened deer, raising his head in shock. When he saw Li Fan, he quickly wiped away his tears. Bastard, do you only know how to be sarcastic? Hey, do you also say that about me? Li Fan couldn't help laughing. You're usually the one who sarcastically ridicules me. I didn't. Wasn't I very good to you some time ago? Shin Chen wiped away his tears. But I didn't treat you well because I like you. Don't think too highly of yourself. You don't like me. Then who confessed to me? Humph, I was temporarily retarded, okay. Who would like you, bastard? Shin-chen was very angry, very angry. She was busy running advertisements, doing publicity, and working hard. But even so busy, she still took a break and bought a sportswear for Li Fan. When she heard Lu Wan and say that the three major societies would join forces to challenge Li Fan, she quickly informed the company and ran back here. Although Shin-chen wanted to cheer for Li Fan, she was too embarrassed to show it. After running around outside for a while, Shin-chen felt that the distance between her and Li Fan had widened. If it was before she left school, she would have cheered for Li Fan openly. But girls were strange. If they didn't see each other for a long time, they would become a little pretentious. But this was a girl. Why was this guy so annoying? Well, it's my fault. I should have been more lenient with you. Li Fan stretched out his hand and wiped away Shin-chen's tears. Hey, there's a lot of germs in your hand. Although Shin-chen scolded, she did not avoid Li Fan's hand. Do you hate me? Shin-chen suddenly raised her head and asked Li Fan with a little grievance. She was so lethal that even Li Fan couldn't resist her. Yes and no. Li Fan quickly explained, it's just that sometimes you're too unreasonable, so I'm a little afraid. But I've always been like this. Shin-chen sat there in a daze, unable to understand. The agency also told me to keep a distance from everyone, because I'm different from everyone, and I have to maintain my sense of mystery. You keep a distance from ordinary people, but you and I should be considered friends, right? Yeah, Shin-chen nodded. Then Lu Wan is also your friend, right? Xiao Wan, she's a sister. Shin-chen corrected Li Fan's statement, better than a sister. Well, that's true, but you're not biological sisters after all. You were just ordinary friends at the beginning, right? Yeah, Shin-chen nodded. That's right, do you need to treat your friends like this? Li Fan looked at Shin-chen and said word by word, I don't need you to flatter me, just like how you treated me before you left. You can treat me exactly the way you are, but just give me a little more respect, and that will do. I respect you very much, so I give you all kinds of rights that others can't get. It's not any rights, but putting me on an equal footing with you. How is that possible? I'm a gift from God. Shin-chen shook his head repeatedly. Who instilled such a brainless concept in you? Li Fan frowned, everyone in this world is born equal. It's not equal, I'm different. Shin-chen emphasized. How are you different? How are you stronger? Li Fan suddenly snorted coldly. He stood there and raised his true energy. The surrounding rainwater seemed to be afraid of Li Fan, avoiding him. Li Fan's skin began to emit a red glow, and white smoke came out from his back, forming a ring. Compared to me, how are you? As Li Fan spoke, he raised his hand and struck the sky with his palm. Li Fan's true energy condensed into a ball, and was instantly sent to the sky thousands of meters high. The dark clouds in the sky were instantly dispersed by Li Fan's palm strength. Shin-chen stared blankly at the sky, the clouds that were pierced. The surrounding raindrops stopped, and the sun shone through the gap in the clouds, shining on Li Fan, making Li Fan look like a god. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.